Hey guys, welcome to Pocket Saga. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Ash started in Kalos, Part 1. This story is Ash XYZ by the respected author Festivewillow69. Make sure to show some love for their work. Before starting, if you are interested in Pokemon fanfictions, you can consider subscribing this channel and like this video. That keeps me motivated to upload more. Now let's dive in. A little fletchling, a white-colored bird with a red head and black beak, was flying up a set of stairs into a boy's bedroom. Sleeping in bed was now 16-year-old Ash Ketchum. It flapped over the sleeping boy a little bit before dive-bombing into Ash, waking him up abruptly. "Ow! My side, your beak is sharp, you know," he yelled at the bird. Removing the damaged blanket, it revealed a bloody hole, and a few similar dot-shaped wounds around his midsection on both sides. "One of these days you're going to poke one of my kidneys out. Way to start off a birthday," Ash grumbled as he grabbed some big bandages and wrappings. After cleaning and dressing his new wound, he dressed up in his blue jacket and blue jeans, finishing it with boots and a red hat. He took his shades, but didn't think they were necessary, so he put them away. Going downstairs, he saw his mom making breakfast. "Mom, that bird tried pecking my appendix out again," he complained to her. "Good morning, Ash. You sure slept well. All rested up from the move?" she asked, much to Ash's confusion as she didn't acknowledge what he said. "What are you talking about? We've been here for half a week," Ash pointed out. "It's about time you got going," she said with emotion, but was acting almost robotic like with a program. "Huh? Where would I? Why don't you go outside and say hello to the neighbors?" "Mom, I'm hurt, and you're not making any. Why don't you go outside and say hello to the neighbors?" she repeated in the exact same way. "Mom, why don't you go outside and say hello to the neighbors?" she repeated in the exact same way. "Mom, why are you acting like this?" Ash yelled in a panic as he shook her shoulders, trying to get some sense back into her. But she simply took his hands, twisted him around and pushed him out of the open door while saying in the exact same way, "Why don't you go out?" The door was closed before she even finished her sentence. Mom, let me in," Ash cried out, trying to open the door, but it was locked. Which was weird because it didn't have a freaking lock, so it couldn't be kept closed like that. He then proceeded to bang against the door, but no luck either. "Man, that's pretty messed up, isn't it? A mom throwing her kid out for no reason. It's like she was programmed to do that all of a sudden." "Welcome to Vaneville Town," someone greeted behind him. He turned to see two beautiful girls. One was fair-skinned and wore a black sleeveless shirt and a red skirt reaching her mid-thighs. Her legs were covered in black thigh-high socks and black sneakers with red accents. Around her right arm was a medium-sized pink purse. Her long blonde hair was held back in a ponytail. The other one had a slightly darker skin complexion, shorter than both of them, and wore a mostly pink outfit such as a pink shirt with black bows going down the front, a bright pink bag and pink shoes with white accents. Her legs were completely exposed as she wore black short shorts. And her brown hair was put up in the weirdest way Ash has ever seen. "Do you remember me?" Should I?" he asked, still thrown off by his mother acting like a robot. The teenage girl looked a little annoyed. "Come on, Ash. It's me, Serena Burton. We were childhood friends in Kanto." Then he remembered, gaining a smile for the first time since waking up within the past 5 minutes. "Oh, Serena. Yeah, I remember. We were like what, 5 or 6 years old since you moved? How has Kalos been?" "It's been fine. Rather boring, but I had friends." Serena shrugged, crossing her arms while having an indifferent face. "Hello." The other girl greeted him. "My name is Shauna Bonnet. Great to meet you. Guess what? We've come to get you." "Get me? For what?" Ash asked. "The esteemed Professor Sycamore lives here in the Kalos region." Serena started to explain. "I was told he has a request for all of us. Though I'm surprised he knows who you are. You did just move here, after all." "Yeah, and got kicked out apparently," Ash thought to himself in grimace. "We'll wait for you in the next town over, and you know what?" Shauna questioned with great excitement. "What? We're going to get a Pokemon, come on, hurry up, let's go," she yelled before she and Serena ran off. Ash looked back at his house. "Mom, you better be acting normal when I come back. The young teenager quietly spoke towards his house before slowly walking to the next town since his sides hurt. Passing a guy talking about the newest technologies, it was thankfully its short walk before reaching Aquacord town. To his left he spotted Serena, Shauna, and a young boy that didn't look that much younger, but was just more smaller, skinnier and not very social looking. Shauna spotted Ash and waved him over. "Hey Ash. This way, over here." As he approached, she continued speaking. "We were just talking about you while you were away." "Isn't that considered rude?" Ash inquired. "Anyway, have a seat. This is our normal meeting place. Me, Shauna, Trevor and Tierno," Serena told him. "Where's Tierno then?" "Oh, he's moved on to a better place," Shauna said sadly. "Oh, did he die?" Ash asked sympathetically, but she just looked confused. "Huh? Who said anything about being dead?" "Tierno's in Lumino's city living his dream as the top dancer in the region. Became popular when he was 11. Ash sweated from the way she worded why Tierno was away. "So that leaves Trevor Crouch." Serena introduced the young boy, wearing an olive-colored vest over a white shirt and dark gray pants. His orange hair was quite big and round for his head. Almost like a non-curly afro. He never misses a single question on a test, but he's a bit of a wimp socially. "You don't have to say it like that," Trevor complained, but she ignored him. "Anyway, we should give you a nickname." Oh, how about Lil Ash? Because he's just so cute." Shauna reached over the table to pinch his cheeks. "Stop it," Ash objected as he swatted her hands away. "Nah, he should be nicknamed something cool. Like Oh Meister." "Trevor, what do you think?" Serena asked the shy boy, making him shrink back. "You want my input on someone I just met? You shouldn't put people on the spot like that." "Well, if I had to say something, it should be low-key. Maybe something like Big Ash." "Tisk, that's dumb." Serena scoffed. "Does Ash look big in any regard?" "Well, what did you expect? What if Ash doesn't want a nickname?" Trevor pointed out. "Yeah, none of those really suit me," said Teen agreed. "Ah." Shauna sighed in disappointment. "Well, I'm sure we'll be great friends anyway." She perked back up like no big deal. "Anyway, can we see the Pokemon now? I want to see my new partner." "All right. Here they are." Serena obliged as she got out 3 Pokeballs. "Choose wisely. I'm only giving you first pick because you moved here, Ash. On the left is the spiny nut Pokemon, Chespin. The middle is the fox Pokemon, Fennekin. On the right is the bubble frog Pokemon, Froakie." "Oh, I didn't expect to get one. I think I'll go with Froakie." Ash picked the right ball, which Serena complained. "Aw man. I wanted Froakie." "Fine, I guess that even though it's a type disadvantage, I'll pick Fennekin. The line is prettier anyway than the grass one." "Then that leaves me with Chespin. Come here, new friend, we're going to be so great together. Chespin is just way so cute." Shauna cheered as she took the last ball. Trevor looked sad. "What's the problem, Trevor?" Ash asked him. "Oh, he's just down from the fact we played rock paper scissors and he lost out at getting a starter. That's what you get for sticking with paper twice. So it's settled. We're all real Pokemon trainers now." "Does Trevor have a Pokemon?" the older boy asked. "I have a Pikachu. He's called Raiden, named after the Japanese god of lightning and thunder." He responded nervously, though he started growing a smile. "Plus, it's okay if I don't get a starter like you 3. I have something much more valuable." "And what would that be?" Ash inquired. Trevor dug into his bag and brought out a Pokédex. "Tada! It's a Pokédex. It houses all the information about Pokemon, or at least it will once I catch one of everything. Pretty tough to do since there's over 600 different Pokemon," Shauna mentioned. "So what, even if there were over 1,000, I'm going to catch them all. With this, I will understand Pokemon on a much deeper level." "Moving on," Serena said, deflating Trevor's moment. She handed Ash a letter. "It's for your mom from Professor Sycamore. You should go give it to her." "Well, with that done, I'm going to go train with Fennekin. I should probably make my own nickname for it. Well, see ya." Serena then left. "I'm just going to go as well. See you later, Ash," Trevor said before scurrying away. That just left Ash and Shauna. "Hey Ash, you're going to be my opponent in my Pokemon battling debut." Lil Chessie and I are going to have our first battle. Let's win it with style. So she used her nickname on her Pokemon. Alright, so long as it ain't me. Ash shrugged. Alright, I don't mind. Let's just take it easy. My sides are hurt because of a fletchling. Oh, okay, she agreed. Once the two teens were away from the table and were at a battlefield on the outskirts of the town, they began. Chessie, style time. She sent out her spiny nut Pokemon, Chespin. If one were to try to guess what animal Chespin was, the most accurate guess would be a bipedal mole or hedgehog of sorts. She had a predominantly light brown front torso and face and dark brown arms. Opening its mouth, she had rodent-like incisors. Covering her back was a tough shell, but what made this Chespin special wasn't that she was green like normal grass types, but red instead, extending from her leaf-like spikes-covered head all the way down to her tail. Wow, Chessie, you're a shiny. I'm so lucky, Shauna screamed with absolute joy. Ash grinned. Congrats. Now then, Froka, I choose you. Ash let loose his Pokemon. She had ice blue skin, white hands, and a dark blue stripe right down the middle of her head in between her big yellow eyes, protruding vertically due to their size. She appeared to have a mane of white opaque bubbles around her neck and back, and two around where a nose should be. Hey, yours is a shiny too. Normally a Froka is light blue but yours is ice blue, we're both lucky. Cool. Ash smiled. Alright Froka, use. What move do you have? The new trainer asked his Pokemon. To answer that, Froka leapt forward with incredible speed for a starter Pokemon, and punched Chessie in the face, sending her tumbling onto her back. Pound, okay. Chessie, are you okay? Shauna asked her new starter. Getting up, Chessie rubbed her sore cheek, and looked ready to rumble with her adamant look. Alright. Use tackle. The grass type started charging at the water frog. Dodge and use pound again. Leaping over the running foe, she pounded against the grass type's back, but groaned in pain from how much it hurt this time. Yeah. Chessie's shell is super tough. Use Vine Whip. This time, Chessie did manage to hit Froka with two vines from the back of her neck, which looked like a strong blow as she was pushed back quite a few feet, landing on her side painfully. The water type did manage to get up though. All right. Vine Whip once more. In a flash of quick thinking, Ash yelled. Use your bubbles. Seeing what he had in mind, Froka grabbed two of its frubbles to catch the vines and pulled, drawing in the surprised grass type. Going onto her back, the water frog let Chessie land on her legs, and then jumped, thus sending her foe into the air, yelling all the way. Whoa, what are they planning? Shauna gasped. Pound. Ash ordered. Froka waited until the right moment when Chessie started to fall, and then jumped up to give a critical pound into the spiny nut Pokemon's body. Chessie spat out saliva from the pain, unable to make a sound. Even better, while they were in the air, Froka jumped from her opponent, sending Shauna's Pokemon smashing into the ground, landing beside Ash. Chessie had fainted. Oh no. My lil Chessie. She ran to her starter. After making sure her starter was okay, she groaned. Aw man, we lost. I wasn't done watching my cute lil Chessie. Well done Froka. You did a good job. Ash told his water frog, whom nodded with a quiet froak. Wow, you're amazing. The female trainer told her new friend. Let me heal Froka for you. Oh, thanks. He replied. After both their Pokemon were healed and returned to their Pokeballs, Shauna was ecstatic. That was so cool. I can't wait to go on an adventure with you. Oh right. You have a letter to deliver to your mom. See you later. The girl then ran off. Wait until Serena hears about this. Cool. Ash uttered to himself, thinking about what just happened. It was tough to process, but he believes he just made friends with the friends of Serena. And he now has a Pokemon. Digging out the letter for his mom, he sighed, having to give this to his strange acting mom. Going back to Vaneville Town, he found the door was unlocked and entered. Mom, how could you just kick me? What did you and the neighbor kids end up doing? She asked, still being strange and robotic-like. Well, battling but don't change the sub. He was getting irritated again but Delia cut him off. Wait 1 second Ash, is that a Pokeball you have there? You got your own Pokemon? Lucky you. How about that? You're a Pokemon trainer. Congratulations. Are you going to let me, a letter for me? She took the letter without letting him hand it to her, opened it and read it. It says it's from someone named Sycamore. What could it be? A love letter. After just a second of more reading she then said, "Wow, what lovely handwriting. What do we have here? A request. Oh, I see. Ash, we're unpacked and all kinds of exciting things are happening. Mom, you, okay. Let's get you and Froka ready for your journey." Wait, how did you know? Bedelia has already left to go grab a change of clothes, gave them to Ash, and yelled cheerfully as she pushed him out. What an unexpected turn of events. It's just like a sudden last burst of speed from a racer in a Rhyhorn race. Wah. Rhyhorn. You made friends, you met your Pokemon, and now you get to take a lap around Kalos. Oh, and don't forget this. She handed him a town map once he was outside. I don't know what this Professor Sycamore wants you to see on your trip. But taking a trip with your Pokemon is a wonderful experience. She then closed the door on him again. He tried getting in, but no luck again. Dang it, Mom. He screamed in frustration. Sighing in resignation, he put the clothes and town map into his bag, checked and found he had no useful money since he had no euros. He felt like he wanted to cry, but he wasn't going to let the whole town see him. He'd just do it off screen where nobody would see since they wouldn't be able to help anyway. After letting the horrible feeling of homelessness and parental abandonment wash over, Ash reluctantly went off to find his friends with a feeling of despair and need of companionship. Catching up with his friends en route to Shauna spotted Ash first. "Oh, hi Ash, we caught so much Pokemon, Trevor especially." "Yeah, I caught a Bunnelby, a Fletchling, a Spupa, a Zig." "Give it a rest, Trevor." Serena hushed him, making the shy boy shrink back. "So Ash, do you know how to catch a Pokemon?" "Yeah, I do. Remember Gary back in Kanto? That arrogant little boy? I wish I could forget. He was so annoying." She rolled her eyes. "He's a prodigy back home. He didn't become champion, but he won the Pokemon League a year before I moved. Let me guess, he let the fame get to his head and treats you like dirt for not having been a trainer there." "Not exactly. He doesn't even acknowledge I exist," Ash replied solemnly. Serena growled as she punched her palm. If only I could punch his stupidly pompous little face in." The blonde girl calmed down quickly though as she crossed her arms. "Oh well, you're here now, so don't worry. I never disrespect my friends." What about me? Anyway, here's what we're doing," Serena went on, unknowingly failing to acknowledge Trevor's existence. "We're playing a game, except for Trevor since he's caught one of everything already on this route. We're trying to see which one of us can catch the most Pokemon by the time we reach Santaloon City. Here's some Pokeballs." She handed 5 to Ash and Shauna. "Yay. If I find lots of cute Pokemon, then I'll catch as many as I can, and we'll become friends." She cheered. "Well, good luck. Especially you, Ash." She winked at him, making the boy blush. "Come on, Trevor. Watch me make more friends." Shauna tugged the smaller teen along, whom was yelping from surprise. Ash groaned. Taking his time, he caught a Bunnelby, a Fletchling and a Scatterbug. Once he entered the forest and found his friends again, it became a real game then. Since Shauna was already paired up with Trevor, he went ahead and found Serena. "Hey Ash, what's up?" Silent for a few seconds, he spoke up. "Serena, is Trevor your friend?" "Yeah, why?" the girl inquired from his question. "Well, despite calling him a friend, you don't seem to treat him very well," Ash told her. Looking left and right, she walked to him and whispered in his ear. "Believe me, he is my friend. I'm just hard on him to toughen him up. The day he stands up to me and demands I treat him more respect is the day I consider all that worth it. Isn't it wrong though? Maybe, but even with Shauna he's a wimp if she gets too excitable, so he's not going to grow a spine on his own or positive reinforcement alone. There was one time I was too harsh and he ran away crying. I apologized and we're good. He just needs to know that the world can be tough, so he needs to learn that if he can stand up to his friends, everyone else won't be as hard since we'll be there for him." "Hey guys," Shauna called out to the two. "Trevor beat his first trainer." Serena smiled. "His first win, and I wasn't even there." She then turned to him. "Please keep this a secret." "Oh, okay," Ash mumbled. She grinned as the two turned and spotted Trevor coming up, apparently tiring himself out from the effort. I did it. I won. Raiden. Beat a fletchling. Did you now? Serena said as she walked up to him. He shrank away and prepared for more down putting, but was instead patted on the head. The redhead opened his eyes. Good job, Squirt. She then walked away, winking at Ash. See, even Serena thinks you did good. Isn't that great? Shauna asked her shy friend. He chuckled. Yeah, it sort of is. So that's how they spent all day, catching all that they wanted in the forest. In the end, excluding Trevor, whom caught one of everything he didn't have prior to the forest, Shauna won as she captured 6 Pokemon. Yay. So many friends. I'm going to love you all so much. The pink-clad girl giggled with excitement. Serena spoke to Ash. I heard about you and Shauna's battle. Looks like you've got good potential. Look at how much data I collected. So many new entries. This is going to be a snap. Trevor said excitedly. Say, I realized something. Ash spoke up. We navigated through Santaloon Forest in the exact same way that Mom and I get through Viridian Forest in Kanto. This forest ripped off our forest. What do you mean? Trevor was the most confused of the bunch. Look here. Ash got out his laptop for them all to see and went to Bulbapedia to show them Viridian Forest. See, the exact same layout. Huh, I've forgotten about that. Serena remarked. Why is the forest so white and lifeless? Shauna asked. There's only so much you can make and render on handheld games around 20 years ago. Had it been made on the Nintendo 64, then it would have been really something, along with everything else back then. Good thing nature evolves into something better every couple of years. Trevor said. Forests don't evolve, Trevor, they just grow better. Well, no point crying over digital milk now. Let's resume our journey. The blonde-haired trainer got up and walked off, followed by her friends. Ash sighed as he put his laptop away and went along with them. As the 4 walked to the city, they were impressed to see their first viewing of it. The buildings were made of gray stone with brick pathways in between them and appeared to be European style. The place smelled nice with many flowers decorating the area, and it was topped off with a Roselia statue which was part of a fountain. It's so beautiful, Shauna marveled. Indeed. Trevor agreed. So, what's there to do in this town? What else? Shopping. Along with the gym battle after. Come on. She dragged her friends to the city, though had to wait for Trevor to catch a Bidoof, an Azurill, a Burmy and a Dunsparce. Once they were in the city and at the clothing store, they were able to use Serena's debit card to buy some hats which were at 75% off. Ash is now wearing a black baseball cap with a Pokeball logo on it, Serena a pale pink felt hat, Trevor a beige outdoor hat and Shauna a red fedora. They were even able to get roller skates in their favorite colors. Neat, Shauna remarked. I do admit, I feel both cooler and safer with an outdoorsy hat on. Trevor admitted feeling better about himself. Serena slapped him across the back. Great to hear, Trevor. I must say, Ash, you sure look handsome with that hat. The pink-clad, red fedora-wearing girl flirted with Ash, fluttering her eyelashes. Ash blushed and looked away. Thanks. Oh, buck up, Ash. She complimented you. What's the matter? Can't take a compliment from a pretty girl. Serena laughed, making him feel embarrassed. I do think you pull it off as well too. It's not that I can't. I just never received one before. I was nothing remarkable back home. At least compared to Gary. Ash explained, resulting in his friend losing her frown. Don't worry, Ash. Now you're surrounded by friends. Bring it in you. Shauna tried to cheer him up by hugging him from the side, though her approach was not very subtle or soft as she picked him up and swished him left and right in an aggressive manner. Shauna, put me down. Ash pleaded, and she did. Look, I appreciate the friendship, but can you do so in a way that doesn't throw me almost literally? Okay, she agreed, though Ash wondered if she actually got it. Alright, since the first gym leader is here, who wants to go first? Me, she volunteered, though Ash and Shauna tied with her. Dang it. Okay, let's rock paper scissors for it. The 3 went through 2 rounds, and Serena won. Yes, witness me win my first badge. But first, Ash and Serena went to the Pokemon Center to get healed up and then register to enter the Pokemon League, and then they went over to the green-roofed gym. They were in what looked like an art gallery room with a fireman pole in the center leading down a floor. A man greeted them. Hello, Who might be challenging Viola today? Me. This is going to be my first gym badge. Serena answered. Okay then. Just go down this pole and we'll let Viola know of your arrival. Great. Yeah. She cheered as she jumped on the pole and slid down. Ash and Shauna went next, though when Trevor tried to go down, he lost his grip and fell on his back. Nobody helped him up as they were awestruck by the beauty of the room. It was like a greenhouse filled to the brim with trees and flora, along with a battlefield in the center. A spotlight turned on the other end of the room was a woman walking in, wearing a white tank top, cargo shorts, boots, and hair shaped like the general form of a bug. That determined expression, that glint in your eye that says you're up to the challenge. It's fantastic. The gym leader came up close and started taking pictures of Serena with her camera, whom was first surprised by this, but quickly shook it off to pose, liking the attention. Just fantastic. I understand that this is your first gym battle. Fantastic. Whether it's the tears of frustration that follow a loss or the blossoming of joy that comes with victory, they're both great subjects for my camera. Fantastic. This'll be just fantastic. Having taken enough pictures, she went back to her corner of the field. Now come at me. My lens is always focused on victory. I won't let anything ruin this shot. You got it. Serena accepted. A female florist came up to referee while the trainer's friends sat on the sidelines. The battle between Serena the challenger and Viola the Santaloon gym leader is about to begin. Each side will have 6 Pokemon to use and 6. But this is just the first gym. Usually it's 2 or 3. Trevor pondered with a whisper. Ash shrugged. Now let the battle begin. Kricketune, go. Viola let her first Pokemon out, which was a bipedal red and black cricket with thin scythes for arms. Foxy, I choose you. Serena sent out her fox Pokemon, Fennekin, whom was colored gray with deep red tufts of hair coming from her ears. Fennekin, she cried out. Use Ember. Shooting off a few sparks of flame from her mouth, it dealt super effective damage against the bug type, and it fainted after giving a cry of pain. Kricketune is unable to battle. The winner is Foxy, the announcer declared. Okay. Serena accepted, if confused on how it fell in just one shot. Return. Dustox, go. Now it was a green-winged purple moth with yellow compounded eyes. Ember, again. Foxy spewed more fire which definitely hurt the purple moth, but it survived this time. Use Confusion. Viola ordered. Its eyes glowed, and the fire starter was surrounded by a blue outline before being picked up. She tried to escape, but was thrown down at the ground, being dealt some damage, though not a lot. We can do this, Foxy. Ember once more. She attacked again, and unable to take a second shot, it fell as well. Dustox is unable to battle. The winner is Foxy. Return. Spinarak, go. Now on the field was a half-meter tall green and black spider with yellow and black striped legs. Again, Ember. Attacking with another fiery offense, the spider took it as well as the cricket and fell in one shot. Spinarak is unable to battle. The winner is Foxy. Return. Ladybug, go. This bug type is essentially a ladybug floating in the air with its wings. Use Ember again. After taking a hit from the fire attack and surviving it, the gym leader ordered. Use Comet Punch. Flying at the fox Pokemon, Ladybug punched her in the face twice, though the attacks were pitifully weak. Ember. Serena repeated, getting a bit bored from how easily she was winning. Once Ladybug was defeated, she then sent out her penultimate bug type. Beautifly, go. It was a beautiful butterfly, flapping its colorful wings and oh. It fell already. And Serena didn't say anything that time. Beautifly is unable to battle. The winner is Foxy. Alright, now prepare to behold the beauty of my ace. Vivian, go. This one was another butterfly, but it had wings that were more purple with colorful scales dotting it. Ember. Foxy gave the same attack again, but this time Viola did something new. Dodge it. And to her credit, she did just that. Gust. Flapping her wings, Vivian produced a strong gust of wind that blew the fire starter back. However, it was that wind attack that pushed Foxy to the brink as a red aura surrounded her, and she howled louder than normal. Alright, your blaze ability activated. Quick, use Ember. Serena requested, getting excited again. Counter with Gust. Viola pleaded. Vivian started up some more wind, but the trainer was ready this time. Jump over it. Leaping over the gust of air, Foxy blasted the butterfly with fire, and she fell to the ground from a powered-up super effective move. Vivian was unable to battle. The winner is Foxy, and thus the victor is Serena. The announcer exclaimed. But Serena was not all that happy. She did smile at her starter though. You did good, Foxy. Take a good rest. Then she turned her attention to Viola. What was that? Half of your team didn't even put up a fight. Viola just laughed at her complaint. I get that from everybody. Especially those with fire, flying and rock types. But can you blame me? My first and second level teams suck in battle. In fact, Beautifly didn't faint. She died, simply from just how awful she was as a Pokemon overall. All of my weaker Pokemon do that. I have to refill my first and second level teams every week. Then. Why are you a bug specialist? Serena questioned, seriously lost on why her Pokemon were as bad as she said. I'm more than just a gym leader, you know. I'm also a photographer. I appreciate my Pokemon as beauties, not battlers. Though once I fight with my 5th level team and above, that's where I really show the strength of the bug types in battles such as Pinsir, Scolipede and Scizor, so you better watch out if we have a rematch. Alright then. Now that made more sense. But that aside, you did fantastic. Take this to prove that you won against me. Walking up to Serena, she handed the young teen girl a copper-colored beetle-shaped badge with 2 green dots. Thank you. Check it out, guys. I got it. Yeah, way to go, Serena. Shauna cheered. Trevor smiled. But the one that she appreciated the most was when Ash said, "You did great." She blushed and giggled. After Ash has also gotten the bug badge, they have been trekking through Kalos on Route 4 for 3 days. At about 11 a.m. for the characters, the group of 4 found what appeared to be a botanical garden filled with very adorable Pokemon. So cute. Shauna gushed over all of the cute-looking Pokemon that were minding their own business. Whoa, so many new entries for the Pokédex. Trevor gasped. Hey, let's play another game of who can catch the most. Serena suggested. Except Trevor, since he'll want to catch them all. Well, just because I want to catch them all doesn't mean I want to not play. He shyly pointed out. Serena rolled her eyes. Alright, fine. Let's put a time limit on the game then. Whoever can catch the most in 20 minutes wins, okay. They all nodded. Good. Let's get to it. They explored the gardens, enjoying both the flowers and artwork of the trimmed bushes and the capturing of Pokemon. However, both Ash and Serena only caught a Combi and yellow Flabébé. The creature itself is a small Pokemon with a white upper half and a green lower half. It has beady eyes, a pink blush mark on each cheek, long, notched ears, and a small, pointed nose. And one thing they all have in common is holding onto the piston of flowers. Trevor captured a red Flabébé and Badoo, while Shauna won by capturing the 3 mentioned, and a Lediba, Skitty and Ralts, meaning a total of 6. Yay! I won and have so many new cute friends. Shauna cheered. If only there wasn't a limit so I can carry them all and have a cute Pokemon party. You'd fit right in with a Pokemon fan club. Serena chuckled. Hey Ash, I caught something special for you. The pink-clothed girl said. Oh yeah? Ash asked curiously. Yep. Though it'll have to wait until we get to the Pokemon Center in Lumio City. She winked and giggled. Serena wondered what she could be referring to. Shauna and her talk a lot since she's practically a motormouth, and she never said anything about giving Ash a gift. Battling through all the trainers in the garden gave their Pokemon a bunch of good exercise, being able to show their stuff while teaching their masters what they were capable of. Once they finally reached the end, or front, of the garden, they saw a couple of well-dressed people who were both young adults, probably in their mid-20s. One was a Caucasian man with medium-length blonde hair. The other a darker-toned woman with black hair extending a little past her chin. Their clothes were almost exclusively white. Oh, hello there. The man greeted. Have you seen any Flabébé? Yeah, we all caught at least one. Shauna answered with a smile. Can we see it? The woman asked. Trevor obliged and showed them his. Yes. A Pokemon of the recently discovered fairy type. Fairy type? Ash asked. I never heard of a fairy type. Let me explain. The man replied. Fairy-type Pokemon are either new Pokemon or old ones with the added type in which they personify the mystical aspect of nature, though as we research the type it's sometimes not the case. Offensively, it's strong against fighting, dragon and dark types, though they're ineffective against fire, poison and steel types. The woman explained. Speaking of which, they're defensively weak poison and steel types, though they do well against fighting, bug and dark types. Interestingly, these Pokemon are immune against the attacks of dragon-type moves. However, it does bring up a contradiction in some cases. The man pointed out. For Pokemon that just received the types such as Wigglytuff, Clefable and Granbull, they've always been unable to withstand the power of Dragonite, Kingdra and such that use Dragon-type moves. But now they can just because they recently gained a type we put on them? Huh. That is pretty confusing. Trevor agreed, trying to ponder about it but wound up getting a headache. Yes, but that just reinforces the one thing about Pokemon. The woman said with a smile. That for all we know, Pokemon are still quite an enigmatic race with mysteries that we may never figure out. But that's where the fun is for Pokemon professors, so it's not entirely bad. But that's enough about fairy types for now. I'm Sina, a beautiful name for a beautiful woman. Serena rolled her eyes in response. And I'm Dexio. 2 years ago, Professor Sycamore entrusted me with the Pokédex. You could call me a Pokemon Voyage veteran. Really? Trevor gasped. I'm using the Pokédex as well? How interesting. Would you like us to escort you to Professor Sycamore? All of the teens agreed wholeheartedly. Great, come along now. They followed the two into the city and were blown away by how Lumiose City looked. Well, all except Trevor. Tall office buildings were all over the place. Taxis leisurely rolled down the gray brick roads, though there were only 2 cars total in sight, so people were crossing the street whenever they pleased. Turning left, they passed a cafe and one office building before shortly finding the professor's place of work. This here is Professor Sycamore's lab. He can't wait to meet you all. He's up on the 3rd floor. The group of teens entered the elevator and went up 2 floors, entering an office when the doors opened. Within the office sat the man himself in his desk, Professor Sycamore. He stood up with a smile. So, we finally meet. Professor Sycamore. You're my idol. Trevor gushed over the leading scientist of the region. Serena didn't do anything to rein his nerdiness back in. This was really important to him, just about above anything, so she kept to herself. Fantastic to hear. Come this way, won't you? He went to the elevator, and so did they, and went to the roof of the building, where there was wide open space, and even a battlefield over it. Many thanks to you all for coming all the way from Beneval Town. It's a pleasure to finally meet you all. How is your Pokemon journey so far? Have you met many different Pokemon? Yes. I've caught a total of 22 Pokemon, Trevor answered. Aha. I knew asking you would be a great choice. You have a certain je ne sais quoi. Huh? Ash asked, unfamiliar with French. It means, I do not know what, Serena answered. Well, how's he supposed to say we have a certain something if he doesn't know what it is? Maybe it's our enthusiasm, Shauna suggested with said enthusiasm. Well, whatever that certain what ya may call it is, I have a good feeling about all of you. But especially you for some reason, even though I don't know who you are. Sycamore pointed at Ash. Me? The boy replied with sudden shock that he was signaled out of nowhere. Yes. Originally, I was thinking of choosing only one child from a town when I was deciding who to give a Pokemon to. That was going to be Serena. She's the daughter of 2 veteran trainers and is a hard, dedicated worker in what she does. But then you moved in and I was like, a random young teen boy. I should choose him. What? Serena shouted. She stomped towards him and pointed an aggressive finger into his face. You picked some random person over me. I mean, sure he's my best friend, but what if he was an old pervert who had no interest in Pokemon? Would you have chosen him anyway? Professor Sycamore gave actual consideration as he thought about before answering with a smile. I don't know. Anyway, he pushed her aside without batting an eye. You boy. Ash. He cut in. Ash, here in the Kalos region, you're far from everything you used to know. That hit me right here. He thumped his fist against his heart. Then it hit me, I should give you a Pokemon and have you travel across Kalos. Now for the reason why we're up here. I wish to battle you, Ash. See how well you have adjusted. Sure. Ash agreed. Serena grumbled to herself, cursing that the professor is sexist. Go. Bulbasaur, Professor Sycamore said with flair as he threw out the Cantonian grass starter. It looked like a spotted bullfrog but with tiny legs and a plant bulb on its back. Ash perked up. Hey, I know that one. I'll win this for sure. Fletchling, I choose you. Sending out his flying type. This was going to be a snap. Use peck. Flying forward, the bird indeed pecked the grass type. It super effectively did big damage as Bulbasaur cried out in pain. Get it off with tackle, and Bulbasaur did, pushing the quick Pokemon off, but he was too slow to counter. Peck again. With a second peck, Bulbasaur was down. Bulbasaur, return. You did the best you could. Charmander, go. A bipedal orange lizard appeared with a flame at its tail. Fletchling, return. Froka, I choose you. Starter versus starter, and everyone knew who would win this. However, Sycamore is smarter than that. Charmander, use smokescreen. Regurgitating smoky black clouds, he obscured the roof and thus made things really hard to see. But Ash was just as quick-witted. Jump and throw your frubbles on the ground. Obeying, the bubble frog Pokemon leapt above the smokescreen, created more bubbles over her back and head, before throwing them towards the ground through the smoke. He could hear where the lizard Pokemon was struggling. Sycamore lost his smile. Now use quick attack. Once she fell back into the smokescreen, an impact was heard along with a yelp of pain. Now finish it with bubble. A hissing noise was heard along with a cry of harsh discomfort came through, and as the smoke disappeared, it showed the fire starter down and out and covered in frubbles. Yeah, way to go Ash. Shauna cheered. Trevor nodded, and even Serena was impressed by her friend's ability. Sure, she was still mad that Ash was randomly chosen for no reason whatsoever over her, but she could still appreciate the skill of her childhood friend he managed to accumulate in just 3 days. Charmander, return. We sure weren't ready for that, were we? Squirtle, go. The final Kanto starter, a blue turtle in a cream and brown colored shell with a thick curly tail. Thanks Froka, return. Ash recalled his own water starter. Pansage, I choose you. Ash let loose his bipedal grass-type monkey which had a small tree on the top of his head. Tackle. Running forward, Squirtle rammed his right shoulder into the grass monkey, screeching from the impact. Counter with fury swipes. Ash instructed. Retaliating, Pansage scratched at the tiny turtle Pokemon. Withdraw. Sycamore pleaded. The water starter withdrew into his shell, but that wasn't going to protect him much. Vine Whip. Producing vines from behind his neck, he took a few swats at the shell, inflicting super effective damage. Squirtle emerged from his shell, fainted. Sycamore smiled, but then frowned as he shrugged and lowered his face towards the ground. Haha, you're too much for me. You're really something, aren't you? You win. Yay, Ash won. Shauna cheered as she went and hugged her friend. By this point he's gotten used to her antics and just accepted it, chuckling. Serena felt a pang of jealousy. The female trainer wondered what there was to be jealous of since she hasn't seen him in just over 10 years. But seeing him embrace Shauna's friendly affection still irked her for some reason. Maybe she should do something fun with him. Then a light bulb clicked over her head as she got an idea, then looked up in confusion and wondered why or how light bulbs suddenly appeared over her head, which dropped onto her face and smashed onto the ground. Aha! I think I've about figured it out, Professor Sycamore yelled as he returned his water starter. Figured what out? Shauna asked. Ash, you are an interesting trainer indeed. It'd be fantastic if you took another Pokemon with you. Here, choose whatever you'd like. Sycamore offered Ash one of 3 of his shrunken Pokeballs. Wait, your Pokemon? Yes. Don't worry. Despite starters being endangered, as professors have tons of them, we only give them to trainers that can bring them to their full potential. Well, in that case, I think I'll pick Charmander. Ash picked the fire-type lizard, which Serena groaned too. He picked the best one again. Don't worry Serena. The professor tried to assure her. Look, since you feel like you've been gypped out of some big responsibility thing, I'll also offer you a Pokemon. And the last to whoever wants the one left. Oh, me? I call dibs. Shauna screamed while jumping up and down waving her hands like crazy. Trevor sighed in disappointment he couldn't get another starter. Fine. I'll pick Squirtle then. Yay. Another cute grass starter for me. The pink-clad girl cheered as both girls took their choices. At this rate, I could be a gym leader with nothing but grass starters. Just don't use meganium. Those aren't all that good comparatively. Serena tried to tell her friend gently, but she shook her head. But they're so beautiful. How can I turn away such a majestic-looking Pokemon? I won't do it. Hee, a gym of nothing but starters does sound interesting, no? Professor Sycamore rhetorically asked. Well, this is all simply wonderful. I just have a few words to say to you. Be the best trainers you can be. At the same time, don't forget to have fun traveling with your Pokemon. Also, I need your help solving the Kalos region's biggest Pokemon mystery, the secret and potential of Mega Evolution, a new kind of evolution that occurs in battle. Here. The man gave each of the new Kanto starter holders a stone. They looked like marbles that you play with in a ring. Serena and Shauna had one, but Ash had two. These are important clues. Catch more Pokemon, find the Mega Stones, and unlock the greatest mystery of recent development. Mega Evolution sounds really interesting, Shauna remarked. I believe that to start your investigation, why don't you check out Camphrier Town? That town has a lot of history. You might find a hint there. Now, this is the part where I tell you some inspiring speech about Pokemon and acceptance of others and blah blah blah, but you've all heard the gist before. It's like a requirement thing for professors and it gets boring after a while due to being long-winded and overused. Don't worry, Professor Sycamore. We'll learn everything there is about Mega Evolution and shine new light on Pokemon as a whole. Trevor accepted the quest. The four then went to the elevator to start the latest part of their journey, but when they reached the lobby, they met someone that was the darkest, most intimidating person they've ever seen in their lives. The man was between 2.50 to 2.60 meters, towering over the woman he was talking to by over 2 feet, and looked like he weighed over 150 kilos. His jacket was covered in Pokemon fur and was extremely black along with his pants, the shade of Vantablack with blood red accenting his suit, which oddly had both a cape extending almost to the ground and a high collar reaching over his head. Speaking of his head, it was completely bald and shiny, but he did have a thick fire-red beard and high-arching eyebrows like he was always furious. One eye had an eye patch with a skull on it, but the other had an eye color of fire. In between his teeth was a fat cigar which fit his mouth like it was a normal cigarette. But the most striking feature of his face was that it had a pentagram scar on his forehead. Below his head, his furred clothes had spikes along his fingerless gloves, his right hand stroking a purloin who napped in just his left hand alone while being petted, belt, knees and shoes. He even had a spiked choker around his neck. And his voice. Oh man, it was so deep and gruff. It was like if Steve Bloom was tasked to combine the voices of Vilgax and the Iron Giant. So, I will be able to meet you soon, then. He then took the cigarette out to cough rather violently, filling the room with coughs powerful enough that he could throw up a lung before recovering. Yes. Sina said. The children chosen by the professor. I wonder what potential they have. She looked to the right and spotted them. Oh, there they are now. He turned to them, and the teenagers huddled together fearfully as he approached them with thunderous steps, and as he got closer, he smelled like burnt toast. Charred black to the core burnt toast. Trevor. You received the Pokédex. He addressed the little teen, whom was so frightened he couldn't speak. He then smiled in a way like an angel died. Wonderful. How? Wonderful. Hey, look at me. He called for Trevor's attention. Reluctantly, he looked into the man's face, only for him to yell, boo. The boy shrieked and hid behind Serena. He then started to laugh loudly. Hollering laughter that you'd expect a crocodile would if it could laugh. I'm just playing around. You are the chosen ones. I am Malvin Lysandre Scarlord. But you can just call me Lysandre. I've tried to learn as much about Pokemon as I can to help build a brighter future. Professor Sycamore has taught me so much. Here, let me gift you something of mine. Digging into his coat, he pulled out wrist communicators. These are hollow casters. An invention of mine. Knowledge is power, after all. Put it to good use. Now listen. His voice boomed through the room. It is vital that this world become a better place, and the people and Pokemon chosen to make the world better must work tirelessly to achieve this goal. My desire. It is for a more beautiful world. He then started coughing horrendously again as he left, taking the cigar out of his mouth and dropping it onto the ground, before stomping and crushing it under his boot. Finally, he left. The teens were left speechless as Sina approached them. "I wonder what kind of beautiful world Lysandre desires?" Sina questioned, like the man was completely normal. "Are you kidding me?" Serena questioned. "He looks like the kind of guy who could command the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse." "Oh, don't be silly." Sina laughed. "Sure, he looks slightly intimidating, but he has a noble goal, and one should never judge a book by its cover." What if the book was titled, Mein Kampf? Trevor stuttered. "Well, anyway, in this great big Kalos region, there's over 600 Pokemon. I hope you learn all of them." "Right. We'll just be going then. Bye." Serena nervously chuckled as she pushed her friends out of the facility and they were back outside. "Wow. He was so scary. I don't like him, and I like everybody," Shauna shivered. "How can Sina and Professor Sycamore see anything good in him?" Serena asked in bewilderment. "Let's just go to a cafe and get some tea. That'll maybe help." All of them agreed, so they went to try and forget they witnessed a man who looked like an agent of chaos. After having a relaxing break of tea after meeting the awfully frightening person of Lydadri, the group found a Pokemon Center, which is where Shauna remembered something. "Oh yeah, I just remembered my gift for you, Ash. Come on." She gripped the trainer's hand and pulled him inside. "Ah, wait, Shauna." Ash pleaded, but she didn't listen. Serena and Trevor stood outside looking surprised by the sudden outburst. "Do you know what that was, Serena?" "No, number I do not, Trevor," she replied. They entered and saw that the two were apparently trading Pokemon. Shauna looked extremely ecstatic and giddy. She was even hopping from one foot to the other quickly. "Come on, open E," she encouraged with the biggest smile Ash has seen. "Okay," he responded, not sure why she was so elated. Opening the ball, now in Ash's possession, was not only a Flabébé, but a white-colored Flabébé. Trevor gasped and came over quickly to examine it. "Whoa! A white Flabébé. They're super rare. Of the 60,000 recorded Flabébés which are only found in the lower of Central Kalos, only 600 or less are white." "Shauna, you were willing to give me a rare Flabébé?" Ash couldn't believe it. "Of course. I wanted you to feel really welcome in not just Kalos, but this group as well. You just moved less than a week ago and you already fit in so well." The girl gushed. Ash laughed while scratching his head. "Thanks, Shauna. I appreciate the thought." She hugged Ash with all her strength, which thankfully wasn't suffocating, but the air was squeezed out of him anyway. Ash smiled regardless as he returned the hug. Serena clenched her hands while her eyebrow twitched. Well, there's no use denying it. She may be stubborn on some things, but refusing things wasn't one of them. She wanted Ash to be hugging her. Remembering something, Serena smiled as she walked to them. "Wow, congrats on getting a white Flabébé. We should celebrate by going to a battle restaurant." "Oh sure. I'm actually famished now that you all." Ash was yanked out of Shauna's hug and dragged along with Serena leading. "Great, I know just where to go." "Ah, no fair, Serena," the brown-toned girl complained. "I think I'm going to go visit my sister," Trevor decided. "Want to come with?" he politely asked. She sighed. "Yeah, sure." Ash and Serena went to the cheapest restaurant they could go to in southern Lumiose City. Upon entering, it just looked like any typical restaurant you would find. The counter attendant looked up with a bored expression. "Welcome to Restaurant Lana. Our flavors will never overwhelm your palate." "At least they're honest that they're not overly great." Serena snickered with Ash chuckling at her remark. Once they were seated in the middle of the room, the two were handed their menus. "What would you like?" the waiter asked. "I'll have your hand-picked salad, please," Serena requested, with some water. "I'll have the soup and some pan-fried fish, along with some juice," Ash asked for. "Very good. While I prepare your meals, let one of our chefs battle you in the meantime." "Oh yeah. Battling will make me hungrier," the male trainer cheered. Serena chuckled. "Just as energetic as I remember you," she said fondly. Once they were led to the outside, they faced off against a chef. "Hello, you may refer to me as Gerald. Are we ready to begin?" "Yes." Both trainers responded. "Okay then, Pansage, Pansayar, let's go." "Foxy, Froka, I choose you," both trainers yelled as they brought out their starters. Froka, Ash didn't even give out his order as Froka jumped into the air, forming an orb of water, and threw it at the unprepared fire monkey, splashing it back with a super effective move. It was defeated in one go. Alright, you learned water pulse. Not bad, but Ember isn't the only thing Foxy knows. Serena boasted. Use flame charge. Producing fire around herself, she ran forward and rammed into Pansage, inflicting just as much damage. It was a double KO. Yeah, that was great, Ash. Hey, you two sure got a blast of a start, but we'll get you this time. Pansayar, Panpour, let's go. Oddly, he sent out another fire monkey and a water monkey this time. Use Incinerate and Vine Whip. Dodge and use Water Pulse. Dodge with Flame Charge and use Tackle. Both of them said at the same time. Froka evaded the attack as she used the same water tactic on the high-temp Pokemon, while Foxy bashed into the spray Pokemon. Counter with Water Gun. Gerald ordered as he returned Pansayar. Panpour was able to blast the Fox Pokemon, whom yelped with pain from the water attack. Hang in there, Foxy. Use Tackle. Help her with Pound, Ash instructed. Both shiny Pokemon charged with physical force towards the overwhelmed monkey, and knocked it back with serious power, flying out of the field and landing on its back unconscious from the combined impact. Well, you're certainly well coordinated. Your dishes ought to be done by now, so here's the last batch. Pansage, Panpour, let's go. Foxy, use Flame Charge. Froka, Water Pulse, as the Fox Fire starter blitzed everyone else and eliminated the grass type in one go, while the water starter managed to deal some big damage to the water monkey. Quick, use Water Gun. Tackle. Pound. The teenagers retaliated as both Pokemon went on the attack, too fast for the water gun to hit, and promptly defeated Chef Gerald. Oh my. You two are quite strong and fast. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to distract you from waiting. Your order will be ready shortly. Once they were led to their table and their lunch was served, the two started talking. So, how was Kanto? Explored much? Serena asked. Not much further than Pewter City. I asked Mom if we could travel for fun if not for going on a Pokemon journey, but she said that it wasn't safe since all we had was a Mr. Mime and had to wait until I was 17. Actually, I'm not even sure why we moved here in the first place. She wouldn't explain anything except that Kalos looked like a much more beautiful place to live. Ash mused, thinking about the situation that brought him to the region. If that black and white map of Viridian Forest is any indication, then I can see what she meant by that. What do you mean? Well, it's just so bland and flat. I'm not sure if it's improved, but look around. Not only is there color and depth here, everything has a Z-axis now. Yeah, everything does seem up to date compared to back home, even with color being introduced and some depth applied. Both laughed before it died down. Serena reached forward and took hold of his hand. I'm so glad you're here, Ash. We had lots of fun when I was there, right? She gazed into his brown eyes. I'm glad to have seen you again as well. We were best friends back then, were we? He asked, staring into her gray eyes. We can go back to that, if you want, she offered, rubbing her thumb against his hand. I'd like that, he accepted, starting to fall into a trance. How is your lunch? The waiter interrupted them, surprising the teens. Is it to your liking? Hey, we were having a moment. Serena chewed him out. Oh, so sorry, madam. I'll just leave you be. The waiter swiftly left. Well, that happened. Ash stated. So where were we? We decided to try to be best friends again. Oh yeah, I think that would be fun. Serena smiled. Wonderful. As Ash and Serena walked through the city, carrying 15 pieces of tiny mushroom which can be sold for a high price as an apology from the waiter. As they were talking, they soon came across their friends, along with one other person. Hey Ash, Serena. Look who it is. Looking towards Shauna's voice, Serena gasped with a smile. Tierno. It's good to see you, Serena. Great to see you again. How have you been? The chubby teenager greeted excitedly as the two high-fived. Wait. You're the famous dancing Tierno I've heard from these guys? Ash asked. So you must be Ash. Please, call me T-Meister. That's my stage name, which what my friends call me, and my fans. Oh, cool. Anyway, I hear you and Serena are taking on the Pokemon League. Yeah. We're heading to Camphrier Town. Oh yeah. I can lead you to the gate heading in that direction. If you have a Pokemon battle with me. Oh, sure. That sounds like fun. Then let's go. Tierno shouted as he ran off, though he wasn't very fast given his shape. Once they were at a Pokemon battlefield, Ash and Tierno faced off while Shauna acted as referee. This is a battle of my two close friends Ash and T-Meister. This shall be a 3-on-3 battle with substitutes allowed. Let the battle begin. Froka, I choose you. Ash let loose his starter Pokemon again. Pidgey, dance off. Tierno's first Pokemon was a tiny bird standing at only a foot tall, and was mostly brown with a cream-colored underbelly. It screeched as it spread its small wings. Froka, use Water Pulse. Forming an orb of water, she threw the attack at the slower flying type, and splashed it hard, knocking it down before it got back up. Don't give up. Use Feather Dance, Tierno instructed, moving his arms in a dance-like pattern. Flying up, Pidgey flapped itself arms while sending a bunch of molted feathers at the Bubble Frog Pokemon. She sneezed from the fluffy feathers. Seriously. We'll make quick out of this. Water Pulse, again. Ash commanded with vigor. Swiping away the feathers, she formed another water orb and sent it just as fast as the last attack, hitting the flying type with a strong attack. It fell to the ground, unconscious. Pidgey is unable to battle. The winner is Froka, Shauna cheered. Pidgey, return. You set the stage, so rest well fellow comrade. That win was easy, but from here on out we dance to a strong stride. Oddish, dance off. Now on the field was a grass type that was basically a bluish-purple bulb with legs and a face along with tall grass leaves growing from its head. Oh yeah, an Oddish, Ash recognized. We beat Shauna's Chespin easy, so this won't be any different. Quick attack. Moving faster than the eye can track. Froka rammed into the little grass type, but aside from knocking it back over its head and onto its back, it didn't look like the attack did much. Grunting, it got back up. Huh? That should have done something. Pidgey's Feather Dance weakened your Froakies' physical strength. Now let us show you another dance. Petal Dance. Slapping his hands together, he pushed them up and away like the growth of grass. Oddish spun itself around rapidly, releasing pink petals which formed into a vortex, which grew large enough that Froka couldn't dodge as the close range she was at. She was soon caught up in the swarm of petals as she was battered by them all, croaking in pain all the while. Froka! Ash cried out. Once the attack ended, Froka fell to the ground, defeated. Wow! Froka is unable to battle. The winner is Oddish. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Tierno celebrated. Oddish smiled from its victory. Wow, Tierno's has gotten quite good, Trevor commented. Likely used a TM since that's a pretty strong move. He certainly figured out how to combine dancing into Pokemon battle tactics. Serena nodded, smiling. Good to see he's improved. Froka, return. You did a good job. Take a good rest. Fletchling, I choose you. Once the flying type was out, Ash ordered, use Peck. Flying in close with his superior speed, he landed a super effective attack against the grass type with his sharp beak. Counter with Petal Dance. Evade with agility. Ash retaliated. Moving out of the way with breakneck speed, he was able to fly way out of reach of the Petal Dance. Now use Peck. Flying down in the eye of the pink petals, the tiny Robin Pokemon easily reached Oddish and landed a super effective hit, knocking out the grass type as it was smashed into the ground. Oddish is unable to battle. The winner is Fletchling. Way to go Ash. Oddish, return. You danced beautifully. Rest well now. Time for the big finale. Corphish, dance off. His young ace in the hole is a red lobster, with small eyes and 3 small spikes at the top of its head. Possessing 4 pairs of limbs. The front 2 were pincers while the rest were legs for walking. Its underside is cream-colored. Corphish. It cried out. Use Tackle. Ash shouted first. With speed in which Tierno could encounter, the water type was bashed into with considerable force, but his hiss indicated he was more ticked off than hurt. Quick. Use Swords Dance. The dancing star instructed as he swished his arms around like swords. The ruffian Pokemon's claws glowed white and grew bigger as he hissed and moved around in an intricate manner. Corphish. Use Peck. Coming in, Fletchling pecked annoyingly at the lobster. Counter with Vice Grip. Using its claw, The water type got a good crushing grip on the tiny robin Pokemon. He screeched in agony. Fletchling. Ash cried out in deep concern. Now, use Bubble Beam. Opening its maw, it unleashed a barrage of strong bubbles which greatly hurt the fire, flying type. Dropping it down, Fletchling was beaten. Fletchling is unable to battle. The winner is Corphish. Fletchling, return. Thanks, you performed very well. Alright, time to use a good one. Pansage, I choose you. Ash then sent out his grass monkey Pokemon. Get in close and use Vice Grip. Tierno pleaded. The ruffian Pokemon moved as fast as it could, but its kind weren't known for their speed. Get on its back and use Vine Whip on the pincers, Ash yelled. Flipping over the incoming claw by using it as a platform, he managed to get onto the lobster's back and trap its pincers with vines. No. Try to break free, Tierno shouted, but they were clamped shut. Use Lick, Ash ordered. Licking the crustacean, the water type became paralyzed because it was grossed out. I mean, that's just gross, right? Who thought licking the opponent would make for a good move? And how does it paralyze in the same way like Thunderwave works? It makes no sense like everything else in these games. Now swing him around and slam him into the ground. Leaping off Corphish, Pansage used momentum to swing around the crying water type until it was smashed into the ground. When the dust cleared, it was unconscious from the impact. Corphish is unable to battle. The winner is Pansage, so the victor is Ash. Yay, Shauna celebrated. Way to go, Ash, Serena cheered for her best friend. Wow, he keeps getting better with each battle, Trevor noted before writing down notes. Corphish, return. Fantastic job. Take a good rest. Wow, I thought you were good, but you beat my whole dance routine, Tierno praised Ash. Yeah, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, the trainer remarked, laughing with a smile. Well, it's settled then. You can now call the Tea-Meister your new friend now. I mean, we would be friends even if you lost, but you have earned my respect. Lunch is on me. The defeated dancer yelled. Everyone was glad to hear that. Oh yeah, I nearly forgot. Trevor realized. He dug out a mesh bag filled with stones. I got this from a guy who was selling some stuff. Said he's grown past playing with marbles, so. Trevor, those aren't just marbles. They're mega stones. Like the ones we're holding for our starters? Serena said to the orange-haired boy. Oh. How many are in there? Around 90. I have no idea what will mega evolve who. But gosh, we just got nearly 100 stones from a guy who didn't know any better. Professor Sycamore will be so excited. Yeah. Shauna cheered. But first, lunch. Let's go. The group then headed to the nearest cafe, and that's where they met two unique people. To their horror, except for Tierno, there was Lydadri, who towered above what appeared to be. Whoa, that's Diantha Bellaras, the Pokemon champion. Serena gasped. Rude, she cut me off. The whole cafe was swarmed by people watching the two, but maintaining distance because how could they, even people as rich and stylish as they are, compare to the elegant and graceful atmosphere she emitted, along with the intimidating and foreboding aura of power Lysandre just seemed to ooze by just standing and smoking there talking, petting his purloin. The woman noticed the teens and smiled. You played a young girl so wonderfully in your debut on the silver screen. Wouldn't you rather remain young and beautiful forever and always play such roles? The dark-looking man asked as he pet his cat. Just loud enough for everyone to hear, she replied. What a strange question, Lysandre. Why would I want to play old roles forever? I wouldn't mind playing as a mother, and eventually a loving, caring grandmother. Isn't that right, everyone? She asked the crowd. They all agreed, especially one guy. Yes, Diantha. You'll be so beautiful and graceful no matter how old you get. The guy was then taken to the back and sacked for that old bit in his remark. Looking over, he noticed the children and sneered in response. I suppose. Doing the same thing over and over can get a bit dull, even if it's something you love. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to. You know how it is. Indeed I do. The champion agreed. Turning to face the audience, he shouted at them with a voice that sounded like lightning struck within the cafe. Move. Everyone scampered away like frightened rattatas, including the teens as he stomped out of the cafe, though not before taking his cigar and dunking it in someone's coffee, and left. Taking the opportunity, Serena went up to Diantha. Miss Diantha, it's great to meet you in person. She praised the champion actress. I'm a trainer who's aspiring to be like you, but with my own personal spin. Oh, it's nice to meet a fan, she replied with a warm smile. Are those your friends back there? Yeah, they are. Ash, Shauna, Trevor and Tierno. Come on over guys. I'm familiar with the Tea-Meister. Diantha chuckled. We haven't worked directly together, but I've seen how he acts when in front of the camera. Bounds of energy with true passion. The world is a stage, and the stage is a world of entertainment. Where have I heard that before? Ash wondered. Oh, some has been hotel I had to hunker down for an afternoon because my limo broke down near it one time. It was great at one point, but the current management sure brought the quality down. A fellow actor who fell out of the spotlight there said that. But enough about me. Are your Pokemon happy, my dears? They all nodded. Well, maybe once your Pokemon are stronger I wouldn't mind battling one of you. Just for kicks with nothing on the stakes. Well, I should be going. Farewell my bright trainers. Diantha Bellares has left the building. Wow, that was awesome, Serena gushed, getting all excited. We just met the champion in person. I think I'm just going to. Pretending to do so, she fainted into Ash's arms, though he was unprepared to catch her, so the end result was both teens falling to the ground in a painful manner. Ash, don't you know when to catch a falling lady? She asked in an annoyed tone. I didn't know you were going to do that, Ash defended. Me neither. You're not normally one to swoon to anything as far as I know, Shauna remarked. Serena picked herself up while dusting off her clothes. Well duh, there's only one thing that can make me swoon. The Pokemon champion. She's just as awesome and stylish as Cynthia in the Sinnoh region. Wouldn't you go weak in the knees if you met your #1 idol in the world? I don't know. My parents are my idols, the pink-clad girl replied. So, no one outside of family then? No, okay. Serena accepted, feeling a little weird now. To some degree she thought Shauna saw her as an idol, but apparently not. Anyway, I'm starved. How about some lunch? Tierno brought up again. Shauna and Trevor agreed while Ash and Serena declined, since they were full. Today sure has been eventful in Lumiose City. Ash and friends, after a day of traveling, have finally reached it, Camphrier Town. Entering through an arched entry of a rather thick concrete brick wall, the city appeared to have been around a long time. Filled with Lombard-style arches, domes and houses made of what appears to be uniquely made bricks, the architecture certainly gives the place a feeling of history. Wow! Trevor marveled. This is the first time I've seen a town with Kalos Gothic architecture before. This town must be between 900 to 1000 years old. How would you know that, Trevor? Serena asked, both confused and intrigued. I thought you were only a fan of Pokemon. It's not the only thing I know about. Architecture is cool too. I do live near the Lumiose Prism Tower after all. That's where you live? Ash asked, not having learned that before. Yeah, him and his older sister. It's nice hanging out with them together. Shauna beamed. Looking around, the group spotted a giant castle, which despite the age, still stood proud and tall, overseeing everything on top of a hill. I bet that's where we'll find the answers. Trevor guessed. Castles are the biggest keepers of secrets. Yay! I want to go into the castle. Shauna agreed wholeheartedly. However, going up the hill seemed to have taken quite a bit of effort, as the group were breathing quite hard and felt ragged. When have stairs hated me so much? The same pink-clad girl complained. All right. Ride's over, Squirt. Serena told her luggage that was Trevor, the only one unfazed as she dropped the exhausted boy off her back. I've never walked uphill so much before in my life. Trevor groaned, hugging his aching legs close. It's like my legs are about to fall off, Ash remarked, panting all the while. Oh, suck it up. Man, you guys need to work on your cardio. The female trainer stated, exasperated by their level of tiredness. Looking up at the castle, not only was it at the top of a hill, it was even surrounded by a moat. Hey, can someone lower the drawbridge? We'd like to get in, please. Within a few seconds, the drawbridge lowered and an old butler came out. He appeared to be extremely old. Completely bald, very wrinkly like a pair of clothes crammed into a suitcase all day, trembling all over the place and is using a walker. Hello there. How can I help you young people out on this fine afternoon? Sheesh Gramps. Just how old are you? Serena gasped. Shouldn't you be like retired? You look like you're over 100? 113 actually. I have been with the Chaboneau family in this here castle since 1900. I'd love to retire, but I have a lifelong contract, unbreakable until death. But it's been fine. I have loved raising the lords and mistresses of this beloved castle. Please, come in. Horns were raised as they blasted out fanfare with the butler using a horn to speak loud enough. Presenting the master of this castle, Lord Chaboneau. But once the curtains were pushed aside, they were surprised to see what the king looked like. This king was short. Very short. Like. Not even 2 feet tall. Is it politically correct to call him a dwarf? I know it's called dwarfism, but not every dwarf looks like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. I don't know, and since I'm not trying to be offensive, let's just move on. So, what brings you to my castle home? Excuse me, my lord? Trevor stepped forward, shaking from standing in front of a king of all people, but needed to do so for Professor Sycamore. He gulped and continued. We came here on the behalf of Professor Sycamore to ask you if there is anything to learn about mega evolution. Oh dear. My apologies, but I've never heard of this. Have you, Jeeves? I'm sorry, sir. I don't seem to recall. Then again, I no longer have good memory, so I hardly recall anything anymore. Ah yes, jolly good. I'm sorry, my travelers, but I'm afraid there is nothing about this mega evolution here. But perhaps there is something you can help me with in return. What is it? Ash asked. Oh, it's positively dreadful. We have a festival that we do every year where we harvest crops. A Snorlax eats the roots, plows the fields as he does so, and we give him some of our harvest as thanks, and so on for a cycle that's been going on for hundreds of years. I would happily do so again, but Princess Ali from a nearby palace, Parfum Palace, has taken it. She just came, took it and left. She's nothing but a spoiled brat, but we couldn't stop her without getting into a royal family feud over it. So you want us to get it so that nothing happens? Exactly. Will you please do it? I'd love to play at the festival again. Alright then, let's go. Wait. Why you mean be back down those stairs we've barely been able to see climb? Trevor gasped in horror. Oh, don't worry about that. I can have my servants help you down so that you don't sweat a thing. Oh, thank you. The orange-haired kid sighed. After managing to get in for free since the group of teenagers couldn't afford a collective €4,000 entry fee, it was something truly to behold. A huge hedge maze, trees trimmed to resemble Pokemon, a big gate to keep commoners and thieves out, etc. As they passed through the gate, maids threw flower petals out of baskets before retreating back so that Princess Ali walked into the proximity. Lowering her fan, they were surprised to see that the princess was in her 20s. When Lord Chaboneau said she was a brat, they figured she was either a little kid or a badly mannered teenager like them. But a fully grown woman. Not only that, but she was very tall for a woman. She's not as tall as Lysandre at 2.6 meters tall, but she still towered over everybody around by a solid meter, having a height of 2.2 meters tall. Who might you trash be? I didn't authorize there could be visitors without paying a fee. Hey, you are you calling trash, you pompous princess? Serena growled, raising a clenched fist. Oh my, such a brutish girl. Ladies should be proper and delicate. Guards, take them away. Guards came and surrounded the shocked teens, surprised by how quickly they came, and were pushed out of the gate. Please, Princess Ali, we need a flute back from you so that Camphrier Town can have their festival, Ash pleaded. Not going to happen. What's mine is mine and what's yours is also mine. I own this palace. I own the town. I even own the whole region. Everyone bows down to me. Ho 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 ho. The woman gave a royal laugh that made her sound like an owl. You're not a princess, you're a selfish awful person with likely horrible parents, Serena yelled at her. Watch your tongue, peasant, or I'll have you all executed. Milady, executions have been outlawed since 1977, one of the maids brought up. It doesn't have to be known. Princess Ali chuckled. The entire group gasped, but Serena shook her head to get any fear out of it and continued to yell at the princess. All right. Listen up, princess. How about we have a Pokemon battle? One-on-one. If we win, we get that flute back. Oh my, a battle with a commoner? Well, I guess I can do that. But if I win, then you all have to become my butlers and maids forever. Ho 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 ho. Everyone again gasped, but Serena still kept her game face and declared. You're on, all right, but I don't feel like battling you specifically. I think I'd rather battle your chocolate-toned pink-dressed friend there. Princess Ali pointed at Shauna. Me? The young girl yelped. Hey, that wasn't part of our agreement. I'm supposed to battle you? You want the flute, right? Then let her battle me or no flute for you. The princess stuck her tongue out to mock them. Serena was reaching her boiling point when Shauna put a hand on her shoulder. Hey, it's okay. Even though I haven't been doing a lot of actual battling, I've been training with you and Ash the whole journey. I think I'll be fine. She gave her best friend a smile that Serena just couldn't frown at, though her smile wasn't as reassured as she'd like. Okay, if you're sure. Fabulous then. Let them in so that I can show these peasants where they rightfully belong. Princess Ali yelled ordered. Once they were in a part of the garden where none of the plants would be harmed, both girls sent out their Pokémon. Furfrou, go. This normal type looked like a dog, but not just that, but very stylized. Her fur has been dyed purple at around the end of her fur with the rest of it pink. Her fur looked like bows around her ankles and spherical buns on the back of her head. Quilladin, style time. Shauna yelled, summoning her first Pokémon. What used to be a hedgehog-like creature was now a ball of plant-like armor, covering the entirety of her body with the exception of her face, which now had a pointy nose that was red at the end. Her lower body and underside of her arms was also uncovered, colored a dark brown. Furfrou, use headbutt. Princess Ali went first. With surprising speed for a pink pampered poodle Pokémon, she managed to charge at such a pace Quilladin could barely react in shock before being bashed into, crying out from the impact as she was pushed down into the ground. Counter with bite, quick! Shauna pleaded. Opening her mouth, the spiny armor Pokémon bit down, but even though it appeared to have hurt her opponent since the canine growled, there wasn't much damage. Ha ha ha. It's no use, Furfrou's fur coat ability can absorb physical attacks. Headbutt again. Furfrou rammed her head into the grass starter once more, managing to keep a lead in this battle. Come on Shauna. I know you can do this, Serena encouraged her friend. Yeah, I bet she's never battled before in her life, Ash added optimistically. Please, I don't want to be a servant. Win for us, please, Trevor pleaded, crying his eyes out at the possibility of losing his future. I'll do my best, Shauna responded. Don't worry Quilladin, we'll win this. Push Furfrou back with Vine Whip. Sprouting 2 vines from her back, the grass starter started whipping the normal type away. Now use rollout. Jumping and curling into a more round ball, Quilladin started to begin her attack, but Princess Ali was having none of it. Stop it with Rock Smash. Her front paws glowing white, Furfrou stood up on her hind legs before slamming them down on the rolling starter, managing to stalemate the challenger and yet was being pushed back by inches. She growled as she tried to stop Quilladin, but the spikes of the plant armor was preventing her from pressing too hard. Shauna then thought of something, and smiled. Use Vine Whip as well. Producing vines while rolling, the rapid-fire swatting of the vines was able to distract the poodle Pokémon enough that Quilladin was able to succeed with her rollout attack, running over the pink canine. She weakly howled with how she sort of looked like roadkill without being dead, but she was able to get up, shaking her head. Hey, you ruined her styled fur, you'll pay for that. Fight harder Furfrou, Princess Ali demanded. Use headbutt. Taking a prepared stance as Quilladin turned to make a third attempt, the normal type charged with all her might, but when the two collided, the poodle Pokémon was downright flattened into the ground thanks to the downward spinning. No? You get up right now. Rock Smash. The princess tried to get up again, but she was again bashed into from what was an unstoppable wrecking ball that was the spiky armor Pokémon. Crashing into the ground at her owner's feet, Furfrou was defeated. Yay, we did it Quilladin. Shauna cheered as she ran and hugged her starter whom hugged her back. Oh thank goodness. Trevor sighed. Yeah, I knew you could do it, Serena shouted with a smile. Yeah, you were awesome, Ash complimented. However, their celebration was cut short from a frustrated scream. No fair. No fair. No fair. Princess Ali whined as she jumped up and down on her feet, kicking the air and stomping the ground, totally being a sore loser. I was supposed to win. I'm rich. I'm beautiful. I am a princess. With tears that were black from running mascara coming down from her eyes, she pointed at Shauna. Guards, seize her for beating your princess. That is enough, Ali. A man's voice bellowed out. Everyone flinched when they saw a king and queen of the palace came into the proximity of the area. Ali, what has gotten into you? Oh daddy, these mean old peasant filth beat up my poor furfrou because I took some flute that was mine. Send them to a dungeon. Execute them, anything. Ali, we never raised you to be this way. The princess's mother scolded. Of course, we did raise you to be an arrogant, petty and self-entitled princess with no empathy for anyone, but not a whiny loser. If there's one thing about is that we keep our word. If they want a flute, then give it to them. But mommy, it's mine. Everything is mine. The princess tried begging them off the ground, on her stomach while slamming her fists against the ground, but the king was having none of it. Such shameless sobbing. You're grounded, guards, take Ali to the dungeon. No. The spoiled woman-child cried as she was dragged by some guards gripping her ankles, dragged off to the palace. Is she going to be all right? Shauna asked, now somewhat concerned for the princess. Oh, don't worry about my daughter. I'm sure a good 50 years in there when she becomes old and ugly will teach her a lesson. Besides, we already have 7 other daughters and 2 sons. It's not like she's anything special. The king explained, although that didn't make things any better for the teens. You wanted a flute, right? The queen asked. Yes, Ash replied. For the festival. Oh yes, very good, she said with an eye roll, snapping her fingers so that a maid handed Shauna the flute. All right, off you go. Shoo, shoo. The queen ushered them off since their presence was no longer warranted. All right, fine. This place stinks anyway, Serena sighed as she walked off. Thank you. The pink-clad girl thanked before running off. Reaching Camphrier town, everyone waited in anticipation as Lord Shabano waited anxiously for the group. Everyone did. And then, their prayers have been answered. Hey, Lord Shaba. Lord Shabbiness, I've got your flute back, Shauna yelled as she and her friends came to the tiny lord. Oh, thank you. Lord Shabano said with extreme gratefulness. He took the flute and started playing. A grumble was heard, attracting the teens' attention as they spotted a Snorlax right in the square. Whoa! How did we miss that? Trevor gasped. The big sleeping giant woke up from its sleep, rubbed its eyes before smelling something, and smiled as it went over to the 880 pounds of food, and started scarfing it down joyfully. Everyone, give a big round of applause for the kind teenagers who saved our festival. Lord Shabano requested. Everyone present clapped as the 4 felt proud of themselves. Ash then felt both his hands being clasped. Serena to his left, Shauna to his right. He didn't know why they took his hands, but they appeared to be in the middle of appreciating the applause of the crowd, so he just went with it as he raised his hands high, laughing with the situation. But then he realized something. Something was missing. Wait, why isn't Jeeves here? I don't see him anywhere. Oh, he died of old age while you were gone. The Lord replied, looking somewhat sad. Huh? But we're only gone for like half an hour, Serena said, shocked at this. Well, he's been awaiting death for quite a few decades now anyway. The Lord replied. He loved working here, but it's a miracle he kept working for as long as he had. Don't worry though. Jeeves said on his 100th birthday he has no regrets in his life, and likely wouldn't for however long he'd live. Well, at least there's that. Shauna anxiously chuckled. Too true. Anyway, let's continue with the festival. Everyone agreed as they went to enjoy themselves for the remainder of the day. After having their photo taken by Lord Shabano in front of his castle, and Trevor catching all the Pokémon available on Route 6 in front of the Parfum Palace, the group traveled for 2 days across Route 7 before coming across a castle-like building that Serena suddenly became excited about upon seeing it. Oh my gosh! We finally made it! She cheered, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. What is it? Ash asked. It's the Battle Chateau. It's one of the biggest battle facilities of Kalos. In a way, it's similar to the battle frontiers of Hoenn and Sinnoh, but done differently. Come on, I'll show ya. Taking his hand, Serena dragged the yelping Ash as she left Shauna and Trevor in the dust. She sure gets ahead of herself. Trevor sighed. Yeah, but that's part of what makes Serena fun. Shauna defended her friend. If only she'd stop dragging Ash around like that. Yeah, she might break his wrist with all that pulling, if not sprain it. Yeah. Sprain. The pink-clad girl reluctantly agreed, not really thinking about that aspect unlike the short orange head. Once they finally made it, Ash opened the door to look inside. The main lobby looked like it could be used as a fancy ball. A maid with red hair approached them. Hello. How may I help you? She spoke in a soft, elegant voice. I was wondering if there's a way I could battle here, Ash replied. Me too. Serena added. Ah, new challengers. Very good. A man's voice entered the room, prompting all to turn to a well-dressed older man. Welcome. I am the humble owner of this chateau, Duke Turner. Tell me, where did you all come from? Well, the three of us started from Aquacord Town. Serena answered as she laid her arm over Shauna's shoulders and hand on top of Trevor's head, though it did sink a bit into his big hair. Ash there though just moved into Veneval Town from the Kanto region. Huh, hey Trevor, give me back my hand. You need to trim this. The female trainer scolded as her hand got stuck in his big hair, trying to pull free. Ah, you know better than to put stuff in there. The boy tried defending himself as Shauna began to help trying to separate the two. Anyway, Ash said while sweating a bit from his friend's antics, what do I do to participate? Well, all the trainers here are refereed to as knights. Each and every knight is a title to show the amount of victories they have gained for themselves. For beginners such as yourself, you and your friends would be refereed to as barons and baroness. Once Serena got her hand back, clenching and relaxing it a few times while giving Trevor an annoyed look, she then directed her attention to Duke Turner. I like the sound of baroness. Sounds fancy. Be that as it may, it is still the lowest rank here. You have to beat more people to rise up the ranks, and beat over 100 people to be considered a duke or duchess. Whoa, so you're a duke yourself? She asked with wonder, though he laughed in response. Oh ho, heavens no, my name literally is Duke, not a title. I own the place, not participate in it. Oh. Now Serena felt silly. Elise, take these new barons and baronesses to the sitting room, Turner told his maid. Of course. Follow me please. Walking to a certain hallway, the group followed her. They were impressed by the decor of knight armors and paintings depicting of past battling nobles. Here we are. This is the sitting room. Each time you enter this room, this is where you'll wait for your battling adversary. Opening the door, all four gasped as the sitting room had everyone you could hope for in here. Trainers for Ash and Serena, new friends for Shauna, and books from a big and wide shelf for Trevor. In the room were, as far as they could confirm, 5 women and 7 men, either as young as them, old enough to be seniors or somewhere in between occupied the room. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor of presenting you the newest barons and baronesses of the Battle Chateau. Every turn to them, all looking eager to battle. To their surprise, a darkly toned man in a dark gray tux and a black shirt dropped from the ceiling, causing the unsuspecting teens to yell in shock. Standing up straight, he was a head taller over Ash and Serena. Pardon me dropping in on you like that. I like to climb things. The man apologized. He placed a hand over his heart. My name is Grant, and I hold the rank of marquises. Nice to see some new faces. This place sure is regal, Trevor commented. Indeed. Duke Turner replied as he came up behind them. This chateau has been around all the way back since the 14th century, where it was one of the most popular training grounds for traditional knights. Today, the aim is to recapture it with chivalry and valor. It's more than just battling, clashing of moves, but a culture with civility and high regard. Gym battles may be mainstream, but many people enjoy the chateau to feel not just great, but highly respected amongst their fellow peers only in the Kalos region. Yoo-hoo. A woman's voice caught the attention of the group, where a finger poked the back of Serena. They turned to see it was the gym leader Viola. She wore a dress that was white and frilly on the upper half and green on the lower. Viola, you're here too? The former challenger asked in pleasant surprise. I know, I didn't expect to meet gym challengers of mine here. I love the chateau. I have the title of Marchioness. She then noticed Grant. Grant, it's nice to meet you as well. Ah, the lovely Viola. How do you do? He bowed to her, making the woman chuckle. I'm doing good, I bet you were climbing the walls again, huh? Again? Shauna asked. Yes, just look at these beautiful walls. The walls here are so smooth, so irresistible. They draw me to them. Don't you see the beauty of the chateau's walls? I've never really been a climber, Trevor admitted timidly. Well, I sure did. Serena the tomboy boasted. I just love sports. The physical rush is great just as much as battling. Though I have to ask, why is there rocks in your hair? Oh, purely for decoration. I'm the gym leader of Sillage City, and I specialize in rock types. Oh, let me guess then, you love rock climbing the most, yeah? She asked with a knowing, raised eyebrow. Guilty as charged. He shrugged with a smile. You know, this has been a great meet-up with not just you newcomers, but also the lovely Viola as well. As thanks, how about you watch a battle between the two of us? What do you say, my dear, a 6-on-6 with our 8th level Pokemon? Oh my, you are feeling generous today. Viola chuckled before bowing. I'd be honored. Wow, a battle between two gym leaders. This is going to be awesome, Serena cheered. Moments later, the teens were on a balcony as they watched the two gym leaders in yellow capes stand on a round battlefield over a large pool of water. Please give these veteran knights a round of applause, Elise prompted, which everyone watching did. The two gym leaders touched their first two Pokeballs together. To a great battle, Grant said. To a great battle, Viola repeated. Once they walked to a certain distance, the maid spoke up again. This will be a 6-on-6 with no substitutions. When all 6 Pokemon are unable to battle, the match is over, and whoever wins will become either a Duke or a Duchess. Now, let the battle begin. Heracross, go. Viola brought out her bug, fighting type, a dark blue beetle-like creature on its 2 legs and a giant horn. Rhyperior, let's go. Grant summoned a hulking rock, ground type, a large brownish-gray Pokemon with 2 drill-like horns on its head. Orange plates covered part of its body like a vest and helmet, and also had a club-like tail. Protrusions poked from its elbows along with having 2 holes where its palms were. Oddly, the Pokemon were wearing accessories, such as a broker for Heracross on its horn and a metal band around the middle of the tail for Rhyperior. Both had stones in the middle. The two gym leaders then revealed 2 bracelets on their dominant wrists, which held multiple stones. Surpass Evolution. Mega Evolve, both of them yelled. They touched a specific stone which allowed both Pokemon to shout with power as they glowed bright rainbow colors. Heracross's arms bulked out, becoming rounder, and its horn morphed to take the shape of a rhinoceros beetle. Rhyperior started to grow extra spikes over its body, especially its stubby fingers elongating into sharp points and the ball end of its tail now resembling a flail. What especially changed for Rhyperior is the fact its arms split off into 2 up to the elbow, giving it 4 arms up to that point, just as thick as they were unsplit. The glowing stopped as the two finalized their Mega Evolution, roaring as a rainbow-colored DNA helix hovered over them for a second. Whoa, so that's Mega Evolution? Trevor gasped, never having seen anything so awesome in person. Heracross, use Bulk Up. Viola went first. Glowing orange, the mega strong bug started to grow even more power in physical might. Stealth Rock. Grant yelled, taking this opportunity to hinder his challenger. Rhyperior started to form glowing rocks in the air out of nowhere, and launched them onto Viola's side. The woman groaned from the disadvantage, but she'll get through. We won't let that stop us. Close combat. Counter with iron defense. With its split arms, Rhyperior snapped them into place by sliding one arm in between 2, and thus made a wall of stone arms which turned gray and shiny. Even with Heracross's humongous strength boost, the powerful strikes against the drill Pokemon were only pushing him back, though the pained face and grunts of effort showed even it was having difficulty holding the bug, fighting type back. Once the onslaught started to taper out, Grant was ready to retaliate. Now use Stone Edge, sliding its arms from a wall into 4 cannons. Heracross only had time to look surprised before being blasted point blank with sharp stones, trying to use its swole arms to shield against the bombardment. Attack with Pin Missile from above. The bigger horn glowed white before white missiles of energy shot up into the air, and started to hone in towards Rhyperior. Iron Defense. Grant ordered. Raising its arms up, it was prepared to take the missiles, but was left blindsided as the drill Pokemon was caught in between Heracross's horns and thick arms. What? Yeah. Now throw Rhyperior up. Viola cheered. Thanks to its bulked-up strength, the mega-evolved Pokemon threw its opponent towards the sky, whom was roaring in terror as how could anything send it sky high like this before. Rock Blast. Glowing orange, Heracross formed 5 orbs of energy, and sent them right after the soaring drill Pokemon. One could tell that Rhyperior was pretty much done for, since even with even more buffed-up defense, the combined 10 attacks of Pin Missile and Rock Blast created a powerful explosion, followed by a smoke-covered object falling from the smoke cloud and smashing into the ground. Embedded in the beige brick floor is a regular Rhyperior, knocked out. Rhyperior is unable to battle. The winner is Viola. Yeah, way to go Heracross. The bug-type specialist cheered for her tough powerhouse. Wait, it's back to being a regular Rhyperior? Ash asked in confusion. I thought evolution was permanent. When did things become Digimon here? Shauna agreed. I hope that's not the case. Such a shame their games mostly suck. Trevor sighed. I'd probably say their best points is the anime and how it grows instead of being largely the same for over 20 years. How anything can remain popular for that long and has little to no change, I'll never understand. Serena shook her head. Rhyperior, return. Grant retreated his Pokemon. You did good there. Rest easy. Things may look uphill for me, but thank goodness my greatest ability is climbing over obstacles. Aerodactyl, let's go. In midair, a gray pterodactyl appeared with a long mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth, hangs along the wings, and a long tail. A necklace is worn around its neck with a stone in the middle. Surpass evolution. Mega Evolve. Grant yelled, touching another stone on his wrist. Aerodactyl glowed bright rainbow as many stones were growing out of the rock, flying type's body, its hands morphing into a stone spike, and its look becoming even more intimidating. It roared with power as the DNA helix appeared for a second. Pretty impressive, but we're not going to be intimidated. Heracross, use Rock Blast. Forming more silver orbs of energy, the bug, fighting type tried to attack, but Grant was ready. Dodge, then use Aerial Ace. Unlike Rhyperior or Heracross, whom have been moving a bit slowly given their bulky nature, Aerodactyl dived through the barrage with no problem, weaving between each orb while glowing with white energy streaks surrounding the fossil Pokemon. With no time to react beyond fear, Heracross was slammed hard by the spiked head of the rock, flying type, hissing as the bug, fighting type was dealt a massive amount of damage as it was bumped not just back, but straight off the battlefield, crashing into the water. Heracross. Viola gasped. A soft glow was seen before the fainted single-horn Pokemon surfaced. Heracross is unable to battle. The winner is Aerodactyl, Elise declared. That was so fast. Ash noted, only seeing what seemed like a blur. Mega evolution is incredible. Trevor commented, writing down everything that was transpiring. Heracross, return. You did great. You took down his bulky tank head on. Be proud of that. Viola turned to her challenger. Now let me show you something really good. Scizor, go. Due to its dual steel type, one could attribute Scizor as a red armored insect on 2 legs coated in metal with a pointy head, body and thorax. The ends of its claws had pincers that looked like heads that could chomp anything in half. Around its midsection between its upper body and thorax is a metal belt with a stone in the center. The stone's rocks surrounding Scizor began to hover, and then came right at the pincer Pokemon, dealing damage as it grunted from the pain. Surpass evolution. Mega Evolve. As Viola said those words, Scizor began to glow as it appeared its legs began to straighten into the shape of a sword, more armor-coated parts of its body, and its pincers growing larger from just head-looking pincers to jaw-like claws with sharp teeth. Use Iron Head. Counter with Fire Fang. 2 Pokemon of incredible power charged at each other, one with a shiny head glowing white, the other a jaw that's full of fire. As the 2 Pokemon collided, the physical clash shined brightly for a second or two before an explosion occurred, creating a shockwave that everyone had to brace against. Falling to the ground in the middle of the field, no longer Mega Evolved and knocked out from the overwhelming power the 2 dealt each other. Both Pokemon are unable to battle. This match is a tie. The maid stated. Viola looked relieved. Wait, why does she look relieved about that? Serena asked. I don't know. Ash shrugged. After both Pokemon were returned and praised, they both threw their next Pokemon out. Pinsir, go. Tyrantrum, let's go. Now this from simple appearance seemed totally unfair. A 5-foot-tall brown beetle with white spiked pincers growing out of the top of its head going up against an 8-foot-tall revived T-Rex that had a massive jaw, sturdy legs and a spiked tail with many protruding scales acting as armor. After Stealth Rock damaged the stag beetle Pokemon, that's when things became interesting again. Surpass Evolution. Mega Evolve. A band around Pinsir's body and a thick necklace around Tyrantrum's neck glowed as they started another transformation. Pinsir started to glow wings to fly with, and the spikes on its pincers became longer and sharper. The Despot Pokemon grew larger as its body became more massive and formed lots of spikes over its body. Its legs became more sturdy and fur grew under its jaw and over its neck and back. So now, even though the now flying Pinsir was over 5 feet tall, it still faced against a 10-foot dragon covered in stone-hard scales. Tyrantrum roared with such ferocity that it made everyone except the challengers to jump back, though Trevor recovered the quickest. Wow, it's like if the T-Rex in Jurassic Park evolved. Tyrantrum, use Crunch. As the dinosaur ran at the flying, bug type, Viola was quicker. Fly up to use Sword's Dance. Obeying her command, the flying stag beetle flew out of reach of the chomping dragon, moving intricately so its pincers glowed bright white and bigger. We'll buff ourselves up too. Dragon Dance. Grant commanded. Moving around in a ferocious and predatory manner, an orange aura surrounded Tyrantrum as it grew stronger and faster. Close Combat. Jump and use Head Smash. Like the previous bout, the two charged as Pinsir descended down while Tyrantrum leapt straight up, surrounded by bright blue energy. However, unlike the last time, while the stag beetle Pokemon managed to land a single strike with its pincers which were strong enough to stalemate the much larger foe, the sheer powered-up might of the evolved Despot Pokemon along with its weight combined with enhanced speed was simply too much for the bug, flying type to handle, and was knocked back high into the sky, where it reverted back into normal Pinsir and proceeded to fall. Tyrantrum landed into the floor with enough force to crack it, and gave a triumphant roar, although it wasn't as powerful since the attack it overwhelmed still hurt quite badly. Pinsir, return. Once it was returned, Viola held her Pokemon close to her chest. Thank you. That must have hurt quite a lot, rest now. Things may look bad now, but she was still determined as the gym leader switched Pokeballs. Leavanny, go. Now on the stage was Leavanny. It was a thin, green and yellow bipedal insectoid Pokemon. To put it in the most basic terms, it was like a humanoid grasshopper with leaves for arms. On her head appeared to be a tiara with a stone in the center. After the stealth rocks took effect, Viola activated another stone on her wrist. Surpass Evolution. Mega Evolve. As the nurturing Pokemon glowed like a rainbow, it widened while its lower body grew a full below thorax, covered over from the back by bigger leaves that hardened to be tough as metal. By the time the glowing was done and the rainbow DNA helix hovered over the evolved Pokemon, the bug, grass type seems to have switched types as the grass parts now looked metallic. Leavanny was now a bug, steel type. Elegant looking, but your ally will fall like the three before. Head Smash, Grant boasted. While Tyrantrum was fast thanks to Dragon Dance, its movement was not predictable. Outmaneuver it and use Leaf Blade. The nurturing Pokemon's arms glowed neon green as it ran, and dropped so that it barely dodged the incoming train that was Tyrantrum and slashed the underside of the rock, Dragon type as it passed. The two stopped as the Despot Pokemon stopped running while Leavanny got up from its slide, crossing its arms in the shape of an X transforming back to normal. The dinosaur crashed into the ground, fainted. Tyrantrum is unable to battle. The winner is Leavanny. Yeah, we won't fall so easily. The bug-type specialist laughed. Grant smirked, feeling the sweat grow above his brow. It seems like if I use two of my other Pokemon, they'll fall. Alright then, I guess it's time to use my ace, Tyranitar, let's go. Once it was out on the field, the armor Pokemon was a tall, bipedal dinosaur-like creature with a sick green armor like hide protecting most its body, although its belly had blue armor. It had two rows of spikes starting from the back of its head to the bottom of its shoulders, somewhat like a stegosaurus. It had claws for hands and at the end of its feet, spikes circled its long tail. A metal necklace with a stone was around there. Surpass evolution. Mega evolve. Upon glowing like a rainbow again, its backside burst open with spikes, like the energy that the Pokémon was experiencing was too great. Its tail also splintered so that it had 5 ends instead of just one. Completing its transformation, Tyranitar gave a monstrous roar that rivaled Tyrantram's, looking so legendary in its appearance. Viola gulped, now legitimately unnerved. Dragon Dance. Although it couldn't dance, the stomping it did that made the platform they were on tremble was still enough movement to glow orange and grow stronger. Oh gosh. Leavanny, use Leaf Blade. Its arms glowing neon green, the nurturing Pokémon ran up to the intimidating rock, dark type and slashed its front. However, even when dealing an X-shaped critical blow to its front, Tyranitar just chuckled. Stone Edge. Try to dodge. Viola pleaded. As the bug, Steel type jumped back, the evolved armor Pokémon formed glowing orbs that became sharp stones, and roared to send them flying in multiple directions. Even with its speed advantage, there were too many rocks to dodge and was hit by stray rocks which stung way too hard, as she cried while de-evolving, and falling to the ground unconscious. Leavanny is unable to battle. The winner is Tyranitar. Leavanny, return. You did great. Rest now. The bug-type specialist said to her Pokémon before thinking. What am I going to do? His Tyranitar is seriously buffed up, and both of my remaining Pokémon are 4x weak to rock-based attacks. But as evident with Leavanny, it's terribly slow thanks to its increased bulk. I just have to outspeed it several times and not get hit enough and hope it goes down. Worth a try. Yanmega, go. A large dragonfly with a band around its forehead was summoned onto the field, and was critically hurt from the stealth rocks. But the female gym leader would not give up. Hang in there. We can do this. Surpass evolution. Mega evolve. During the evolution, Yanmega's body grew longer, gaining more legs and spikes along the back of its body, and an extra set of wings to boot. Upon completion, it didn't look drastically different, but there was a clear improvement. Stone Edge. Dodge with agility. Unlike Leavanny, who just couldn't get out of the way fast enough, Yanmega was outright blitzing all over the field, as both the move along with its speed boost ability making it go so fast that its Ogre Darner Pokémon couldn't even be visually seen. It's moving faster than any eye could track at this point. Now use Giga Drain. A green ring formed over the battlefield, and thus a green tornado started to form which surrounded Tyranitar. It groaned from the fact that its energy was being sucked up along with all of the air, making it hard to breathe a bit. Needing to act quick, Grant yelled. Use Stone Edge straight up into the air. Non-stop. Forming glowing orbs that turned into rock, the armor Pokémon started firing many stone shards into the sky, which started to rain down. Quick, use agility. The green tornado has vanished, and from there, the only indication that Yanmega was there were jet streams as air filled where the bug, flying type was for only who knows how short. The rocks that Tyranitar were making fell onto the field, and it appeared that it was just firing at nothing but the air above, but shortly after, rocks began to explode from the sheer velocity that Yanmega was traveling. What? Yanmega should be dodging those easily. By the time Viola finished that sentence, a shock wave of water exploded a short distance away from the platform. Like Heracross, the Ogre Darner Pokémon was knocked out floating in the water. Yanmega, return. As soon as she did, the bug specialist asked herself, what happened? Let me answer that for you. Grant volunteered. It was smart to use a fast Pokémon against my Tyranitar. With such slow speed, there was no way he'd normally hit Yanmega. But then I thought about it. How much can it register things at that speed? Can its eyes perceive anything when we can't even see it? So you made it rain rocks to see if Yanmega would fly into them because it couldn't see them. Even though she was sore Yanmega's ability was used against it, the woman couldn't help but smile. Clever. So cool. Trevor commented with eyes filled with sparkling admiration. What will Viola do then? Serena pondered aloud. She only has one Pokémon left and he's got 3. I hope she has a real good ace of her sleeve. Well then, I guess it's time to show you how good the power of bug types get. Volcarona, go. A moth-like Pokémon was released, sporting red wings with black dots with a furry white body, which housed a mega stone in the fur. Even when it was hurt by the stealth rocks, The female gym leader was in the corner, so she had to go all or nothing now to the end. Surpass evolution. Mega evolve. For the final time on Viola's side as she invoked Mega Evolution, the Sun Pokemon's wings flared out into a greater area and looked more flame-like while its body became larger and fluffier. It buzzed with power as the Rainbow Helix completed the transformation. Quiver Dance. Make it rain with Stone Edge again. Obeying. Tyranitar did the same as before, but unlike last time, Volcarona was able to weave around the rocks elegantly since it wasn't going so fast it couldn't see where it was going. Use Bug Buzz. Flying around the armor Pokemon, red rings of sound were being hummed by the bug, fire type, which dealt some heavy damage to Tyranitar thanks to the type advantage. Roaring. The pseudo-legendary Pokemon glowed orange before reverting back to normal, and collapsing onto its front. Tyranitar is unable to battle. The winner is Volcarona. So, you're going all out like I did? Very well. Aurorus, let's go. Another one of Kalos's revived fossils. This time it's a sauropod-like dinosaur that is colored blue with a lighter blue underbelly, has a sail-like skin coming from the back of its neck resembling like an aurora borealis, and crystals of ice adorned the sides of its body. A brace around the lower part of its neck bared a Mega Stone. Surpass evolution. Mega evolve. Grant touched one of his remaining stones in his wristband, and the Tundra Pokemon began to evolve. Shards of ice grew along the ice rock type's back going all the way to the tail, which now resembled a snowflake, and the ice crystals along its side in a way blossomed into more snowflake-shaped ice clusters, along with its veil-like skin widening in places to also resemble a snowflake. Aurorus then shook its neck to let its beautiful veil move around, which glittered like the beautiful Arctic sky. Ooh, so pretty. Shauna gushed over how elegant the mega-evolved dinosaur looked now. Volcarona. Use Quiver Dance. Start things off with Hail. As the Sun Pokemon glided through the air gaining more power, defense and speed, Aurorus hummed as it glowed neon blue, before clouds started to form that blocked out the sun, before small pieces of hail began to fall out of them. Given the speed that Volcarona was traveling at, these hit especially hard. Viola realized this early. No. Stop moving around and use Heatwave. Slowing to a stop, the bug, fire type, began to beat its wings, producing literal waves of heat that not only melted the hail, but even moved the hail clouds. Protect. Grant instructed. Forming a green force field, Aurorus defended itself against an attack it wouldn't be able to handle by this point. Once the attack was over, the rock-type specialist continued. Now use Toxic. From its mouth, the dinosaur spewed out purple liquid that coated the Sun Pokemon, badly poisoning it. You had this planned? I knew Aurorus wasn't going to be able to beat Volcarona, so I set up that it can at least whittle down your ace little by little. Grant explained with a smile. The bug specialist growled. Heatwave, again. Flapping its wings to send out even more heat, this time the ice, rock type was hit full blast, and cried out from the scorching damage before reverting back upon defeat, and fell to its side. Both the hail and poison took a toll on the bug, fire type, as its flying staggered a bit. Aurorus is unable to battle. The winner is Volcarona. Aurorus, return. Thanks so much. Let's hope your contribution will win this. Barbaracle, let's go. His final Pokemon is a living barnacle, standing on 2 legs, its hips and upper body covered in rock, and having 4 arms that each had an eye within the palm. Around its exposed orange midsection is a belt with a stone. Surpass evolution. Mega evolve. As the collective Pokemon began its transformation, it grew taller as the rocks that covered it grew larger and bulkier, adding extra protection to its body, feet, hands and face. The evolution was complete as the Rainbow DNA Helix hovered over it. Use Stone Edge to win this. Forming orbs of energy to create more rocks, the Pokemon launched them at the bug, fire type. Viola smiled in response. Giga Drain, she commanded. The Sun Pokemon's wings glowed neon green before firing 2 blasts of energy, which blasted the stones out of the air, and made contact with the water, rock type, draining incredible amounts of health. This can't be. Grant yelled in shock. After everything has been sapped away, Barbaracle reverted back into normal, and fell onto its front, defeated. The hail above also started to subside. That's it, Barbaracle is unable to battle. Volcarona is the winning Pokemon. Awesome. Despite my easy win, Viola beat a gym leader with a consistent type advantage, Serena remarked, marveling her skill. Grant nearly won too. That hail-toxic combo would be really scary in most cases and probably could have given him the win. Trevor brought up. Both of the trainers returned their Pokemon. Barbarical, even if you lost early, thanks for your contribution. Volcarona, you were wonderful. Thanks for earning us this victory. After saying their thanks, the two gym leaders approached each other close. It appears even my rock-hard defense and even harder offense couldn't surpass your brave bugs. I concede. Thanks. You did have me worried there. Tyrantrum and Tyranitar were quite strong and fearsome. The two friends smiled as Elise came over with a red cape. Now that you are a duchess, you may now wear this red cloak. Thank you. The bug specialist expressed, taking over her yellow garb and accepting the red one. As Viola walked up the stairs into the chateau, Serena and friends met up with her. How'd you like that battle? You were so cool, Serena complimented. I wished I could have faced you last so I could experience that firsthand. Viola smiled from the girl's enthusiasm. Thank you. I'm glad I could show you what bug types can really do. Please tell me, do you or Grant know what Mega Evolution is and how it came to be? Before Viola could answer, the rock-type specialist came up and replied. We don't know where they came from, but what all gym leaders know is that each stone gives a particular Pokemon a power boost, either drastically increases their best stats or slightly improving everything so that the Pokemon is more well-rounded. They can change types and abilities as well. But it can be dangerous long-term. Viola continued. Heracross is sore and exhausted afterwards and Scizor will melt from its internal heat after too long. So that's why you looked relieved during that moment, Shauna gasped in realization. Yes, he didn't have to even worry about overheating. Wait, you said all the gym leaders, as in the rest of you also have Mega Stones? Ash asked. Grant nodded. Yep. Considering that most except a few Pokemon are fully evolved by the 3rd or 4th badge, only those that have earned 4 badges and have Mega Evolution may challenge them, and even then it may only be the ace since Mega Stones are quite rare, even with the estimated documentation of 90 different species capable of Mega Evolving. Trevor then remembered that he recently bought a bunch of Mega Stones from a guy who thought they were just marbles. So cool. Which gym do you lead? Ash inquired. I don't think I've heard you say. I'm the gym leader of Sillage City, which is west of this chateau. Oh, so that means you'll be our second gym challenge, Serena stated with pleasant surprise. Really? Then I look forward to facing against as many of you that wish to challenge me. Grant replied with a smile. Well, it's about time I head home. Perhaps you'd like to train here first since there's plenty of barons and baronesses. We will. I can't wait to face you, Ash said, excited for the future. Even if he can't participate with Mega Evolution yet, it sounds like his journey will be much more exciting than he'd ever imagine. Staying at the battling chateau for a bit, Serena, Ash and Shauna managed to beat enough barons and baronesses. The 3 have graduated to the rank of viscounts and viscountesses. Trevor was fine being just a baron, but he did battle enough so that some of his Pokemon evolved. After doing so, the group then traveled through a cave in between Route 7 and 8 with Trevor catching every specimen they could find. Now, Ash had just finished a sky battle with a guy named Hao, having taken down a Pidgeotto. Ah no. We're falling to the ground, he said, even though he himself was firmly on the ground already. Alright Fletchling, way to go. Ash congratulated his Pokemon. Fletchling chirped triumphantly before starting to glow. Everyone gasped as the flying, fire type grew a solid foot in height and more than that in wingspan, and the result was a much cooler Ember Pokemon with black and yellow feathers on its wings and more cooler eyes. Whoa, you evolved, Ash gasped. Trevor opened a Pokédex to scan it. Fletchinder, the Ember Pokemon. From its beak, it expels embers that set the tall grass on fire. Then it pounces on the bewildered prey that pop out of the grass. The hotter the flame sack on its belly, the faster it can fly, but it takes some time to get the fire going. Interesting. The young researcher remarked. The snapping of a camera caught their attention, and turned to a woman with light brown hair, a black and purple dress, gray pants and brown boots. That was a good battle. Such fiery passion and aerodynamic speed, and the evolution was a nice way to finish things off. Thanks. Ash replied. Who are you? You may not know who I am yet, but I know who you are. Serena, Ash, Shauna, Trevor. Let me introduce myself as Alexa Dubois, sister of Santaloon City's gym leader, Viola. That got a gasp from Serena. Wow, I didn't know she had a sister. Yeah. I may not be as popular as Viola, but I'm still relevant by being one of Kalos's best photographers, journalists. Cool. Trevor praised with a wide smile. What are you covering now? I'm heading to Embret Town to cover the fossil lab. There's a fossil lab? The short boy gasped. Then he became all excited as he jumped up and down. That's excellent. I forget, what's this fossil lab at the town? Shauna asked. It's a research facility on Pokemon fossils. Omanite, Kabuto, Aerodactyl, Lileep, Anorith, Craniodos, Shieldon, Tortuga, Archon, Tyrunt and Amora. Pokemon that existed as at least 65 million years ago at the earliest. Grant's Tyrantrum and Aurorus are living proof. Huh, for once your nerdy rambling actually sounds interesting, Serena commented. Trevor was too excited to notice the backhanded compliment. We have to go there now. Oh, wait. First I need to capture every Pokemon on this route, then we go. Everyone except Alexa nervously chuckled. And maybe the scientists can answer questions we have about Mega Evolution. The blonde tomboy suggested. Yeah, let's catch some Pokemon. Everyone agreed to that, no problem. Shauna caught a Spoink, a Drifloon and an Inkay. Serena caught a Survivor, a Zangoose and an Absol. Ash caught a Mienfoo and Bagon, while Trevor got a Wingull and Talo. And as they neared the water they caught some more, with Shauna getting a Dwebble and Trevor a Binacle and Magikarp. Welcome to the fossil lab, ladies and gentlemen. A middle-aged archaeologist greeted everyone. You may call me Dr. Thaddeus. I bet you were drawn here by the mystique of Pokemon fossils, weren't you? Well, this guy certainly was. Serena pointed down to Trevor. This is all so impressive. So many fossils. The small teen was marveling all the bones that were visible on display. But the rest of us are here for something maybe just as ancient. Do you know anything about Mega Evolution? We're researching the subject for Professor Sycamore. Oh, I've heard about the students of Professor Sycamore exploring the region, but as far as what I know, all I know is that it has to do with stones. Sorry, I'm not much more help. But perhaps you can go to the dig site. Maybe you'll find something there. You want us to explore just like archaeologists? Trevor zoomed towards Dr. Thaddeus. It's been one of my dreams, thank you so much. Boy sure likes his rocks. The tomboy chuckled nervously while sweating. Well, think about it like this. Shauna began to explain. Maybe if we find some fossils that are linked to Mega Evolution, then that would certainly do the professor a big service to his research. Oh, you're right. Well, now that we have a common goal, let's go, Serena cheered. On the way to the cave where they would start digging for fossils, Trevor got a Sandile, Hippopotas and Helioptile. Arriving at the glittering cave, it was a long and narrow tunnel, the only light being from their safety helmets. Like before, each of them caught some more Pokemon as they explored the caves. Serena caught an Onix, a Lunatone and a Solrock, while Ash caught a Machop and a Rhyhorn. Shauna caught a Cubone, a Swoobat and a Ferroseed. But Trevor struck out lucky, having been able to catch a Kangaskhan and Mawile. Going deeper into the caves, the group soon entered a room where a man in what appeared to be a black spy-like suit had his back turned towards them. Turning around to their footsteps, his hair was black and slicked back and wore dark shades. Putting a finger to his ear, he said, "Reporting in, there's intruders in the cave where the mining cart is." Wondering what he was talking about, he then said, "Yes. I'll try and scare them off." Taking out a Pokeball, he warned, "You are intruding on a private investigation. This is your first and final warning. Leave or be neutralized." Neutralized? Trevor gasped. But we're just here looking for fossils. I don't care. Go, Houndour. He brought out a black canine Pokemon that was a fire, dark type, and it looked mean as it barked at them. Use Ember. Oh no you don't, Frogadier. Use Water Pulse, Ash retaliated, his shiny water starter coming out while forming a ball of water, and threw it at the aggressive dark Pokemon, pushing through its attack like nothing and then blasted the enemy in water that did super effective damage, the Houndour howling before crashing to the ground, defeated. Wah! Grr, you'll regret that. Go, Zubat. Once the poison, flying type was out, he commanded, Zubat, use confuse ray. Water pulse, again. Before the bat could make it move, it was also hit by the same move, down in one move again. Grr, you're stronger than you appear, but now you've made the biggest mistake of your life. Putting his finger to his ear again, he said. I request back up, the intruders beat me. Teenagers stronger than they appear. He then dashed off into the caves. Ooh, we're in so much trouble now, Trevor whimpered. Don't worry, Trevor, these chumps have nothing on us. Foxy. I choose you. The purple-furred shiny fox Pokemon, standing on her black-colored legs with a stick poking out of her large fluffy tail, prepared herself, ready for anything to come. Yeah, we're a team. Shauna agreed. Quilladin, style time. Her red armored grass starter came out, looking around to see her fellow starters. Quill. She greeted, the others nodding. I guess so. Raiden, go. Trevor nervously said as he brought out his first Pokemon. They trekked deeply into the caves, until eventually they were stopped by 3 people in the same black suit and tie fashion, this group being led by a woman whom had longer slicked back hair. So, you think you can just do whatever you want, you peasant filth? She spat her insult at them, to which Shauna was especially hurt. Hey, that was just mean. She cried out. Yeah, sure, I may not have enough money to buy myself a suit and tie like you, but that doesn't make me a peasant. Serena told the goon off. My family income is a little over 50,000 euros. That's middle class. The woman yawned to that. Ah, that's cute. But to me you're poor, because your income isn't over 350,000 euros, unlike mine. That shocked everyone. What? Trevor gasped. Yep. To be in our group, you have to be stinkin' rich if you want to join us, but considering how poor you are, that won't happen. Now, enough talk. Electrike, go. A green canine with a large crest on its head appeared, with yellow lightning bolt patterns on it. Scraggy, go. This Pokemon was lizard-like, its oval eyes are set to the sides of its head, and its teeth appear to be constantly exposed. There is a small red scale on its yellow head. It was trying to pull up what appeared to be loose pants that are too big, which were really just loose skin. Krogunk, go. This last one was dark blue, appearing to be a poison dart frog on 2 legs with orange expandable pouches and wide flat teeth. Of its 3 fingers and toes on each hand and foot, only the middle fingers were orange instead of black. Electric, use Thunderfang on the Frogadier, as the lightning Pokemon charged with a mouth full of electricity, Shonda instructed. Chessie, protect Frogadier, then use Pin Missile. Getting in between the 2 Pokemon, the electric type attack hurt, but it wasn't effective as the red spiny armor Pokemon pushed it off and blasted the enemy with energy missiles from her claws. Krogunk, feint attack on Quilladin. The toxic mouth Pokemon leapt up before vanishing, preparing to make its attack. Raiden, counter with quick attack, Trevor yelled. With speed, the mouse Pokemon dashed faster than the eye could track, and bashed into the incoming hand that was going to strike the grass type. Pikachu. Raiden yelled. Foxy, use Ember. Serena's Braixen took the stick out of her tail, pointed it at the poison, fighting type, and launched a few small fireballs that hurt it while pushing it back. It was especially bad because this just so happened to have the dry skin ability. The fire was very painful as it croaked in agony, also getting a burn ailment in the process. No. Scraggy, use Brick Break. Going on the offense, the shedding Pokemon's arm glowed as it ran towards Raiden. Raiden, return. Trevor recalled his Pokemon before the attack could land, crushing a rock in the process. Flabebe, use Fairy Wind. Waving her flower around, the single bloom Pokemon started turning the air pink and sparkly. With one final wave, the wind blew against Scraggy, which was very bad since it was 4x weak against fairy types due to its fighting, dark type. So even this weak attack by an offensively weak Pokemon was powerful enough to blow the screaming foe back at its owner, knocking him down. Krogunk, Poison Sting. Another goon ordered. Despite its burn, it could still attack as it expelled purple needles from its mouth. Frogadier, Water Pulse, Ash shouted. And then use Ember on him again. Serena followed up. The Bubble Frog Pokemon formed an orb of water, and sent it at the purple needles out of the way, but made sure not to hit the enemy, while the Ember surely did, and thus it was too much and it too fainted from an overwhelming attack. Drat, you're not supposed to beat us, the leading woman yelled at the teens. Returning her Electrike, She scowled. You may have won, but you're still just poor filthy people. We already got some fossils, so we'll retreat quietly, but don't expect to be taken as lightly. Move out. The organized people then left, leaving the trainers wondering what that was about. They were searching for fossils too? Trevor asked. What could they want with those? Serena wondered. But their thinking was thrown off when something began to glow. They looked to see Flabébé glowing white as the Pokémon grew larger around the flower, going from holding onto a piston of the inner flower to holding the flower itself by the stem. By the time it stopped glowing, the tail went from light green to dark with a bit of an arrow point now, and had longer ears and eyelashes now. Floette, the newly evolved fairy type cheered. Wow, you evolved. Trevor gasped with joy as he brought out the Pokédex to scan her. Floette, the single bloom Pokémon. When the flowers of a well-tended flower bed bloom, it appears and celebrates with an elegant dance. Congratulations you too. Shauna complimented. Trevor hugged his Floette, laughing with his Pokémon. Serena smiled along with Ash, as well as the Pokémon watching. Once they continued on with the trek into the cave, they eventually found a scientist whom was studying the surrounding rocks. Oh, hello. Here to look for fossils as well? Oh, I am, Trevor answered enthusiastically. Well, you're in luck. I just now have found two, but they're both ones I already have, so I'll give one to whoever wants them. Who wants the Tyrant fossil and the Amora fossil? I'll take the Tyrant, the short orange-haired trainer called dibs on. I want the Amora one, Shauna yelled next, raising her hand. As the professor gave the jaw fossil to Trevor, he nearly buckled under the weight and gasped to maintain his strength, but his legs eventually gave out and collapsed with the rock on his stomach. Serena rolled her eyes as she picked up the fossil and put it in her bag, though she was now leaning at an angle because of the weight. Come with me to the lab. I'll restore your fossils so that they'll be living, breathing Pokémon. Awesome. Trevor cheered. As they headed back, the young researcher noticed that the rock the opposing Scraggies smashed revealed something within. Going to it, he gasped once again to see it was old amber. Hey, we need to get this one as well. Aerodactyl DNA is in this. Ash, can you carry it? My bag is already heavy enough as it is, Serena requested. Sure. The male trainer agreed as he put the amber in his bag. Ah. So cute. Shauna was head over heels in love with her new Amora, whom was the size of a small horse. I love how chilled your skin feels. The Tundra Pokémon hummed in appreciation as she nuzzled her face against her new owner. Alexa was alternating between taking pictures of both her and Trevor as he flew in the skies with his new Aerodactyl, his Tyrant running behind. Fantastic. Truly fantastic. Thank you all so much for allowing me to get such great pictures of these newly revived Pokémon. Oh, it was nothing. Serena smiled in appreciation. Well, there was still that group trying to steal fossils. Ash brought up. I'm worried that they'll come after us with stronger Pokémon. Don't worry about it. The female tomboy replied with confidence. We'll just have to train our Pokémon even harder to be ahead of the curve. Her response perked Ash up. Yeah, you're right. For the rest of the day in Embret Town, the gang has returned to the Glittering Cave so that they got all the fossils for the Pokédex, and at least have one for each of them. Serena got an Archon while Ash chose to get a Craniatos, though the latter did not replace anything on Ash's team. Shauna too, for even though Amora was super cute, she had to send it home because, unfortunately, she'd never get any actual use with a rock, ice type which had too many weaknesses. On their beachside travel, Trevor also caught a love disc, a heart-shaped pink fish. After a day and a half, they finally reached Sillage City, the home of Grant the gym leader. Most of the residential homes were on the left side with a few stores in the middle, especially the Pokémon Center, but one thing that stood out was the giant paved ring around the town, and zigzagging up the hill east of the town, which was where a lot of bikers were participating. Deciding that they needed some new clothes, Serena dragged the group to the Pokémon Center to change their looks to be appropriate for the town. Replacing their old and slightly worn bags, the boys got red bags while the girls, Serena and Shauna respectively, got white purses with red stripes and blue stripes. Then they each took their chosen clothes and went to change in the gender-specific fitting rooms. The boys came out first. Ash got a king labeled red and yellow t-shirt while Trevor got a green t-shirt with a white Pokeball design on it, and a green zip-up jacket to go with it. Both of them got red sneakers now, and while Trevor kept his pants, Ash now wore some cargo shorts. "Wow, don't we look sporty in these clothes?" the black hair trainer asked with brimming confidence. "Well, it's certainly a change," the short redhead agreed. "Wow, Trevor, you actually look good when you don't look like some bubble boy nerd." Serena's voice tried to compliment him. He cried out in an undignified manner. "What's that supposed to?" He stopped, nothing else escaping his throat, while Ash was similarly stricken as they saw what the girls were wearing. Each of them wore an aqua-colored sports cap and high-topped shoes, black and pink for Serena and Shauna respectively, matched with blue socks. Individually, Shauna wore purple baby doll tee with pink jean shorts. Serena was the most revealing through with only an orange and yellow midriff halter top that stopped at her lower rib cage, and jean shorts with fashionable damage holes. "Ah, it feels so nice to wear something so athletic. Don't you agree, boys?" Serena was practically modeling for the boys, but aimed herself specifically at Ash, puffing her chest out with a stretch and swaying her hips. They didn't respond. "Oh, Serena." Shauna giggled. "I believe you broke their brains. I think you might be too beautiful for their minds to comprehend and thus overloaded." "Is that so?" the tomboy chuckled. "Then let's bring them back into reality." Strutting over to them, she went behind her male friends, draped her right arm over Ash while placing her left hand on Trevor's shoulder, and said, "You boys are paying for everything." That snapped Trevor out. "Wait, what? Why do we have to do it? Please, aren't you supposed to be gentlemen and cater to the whims of the girls that are accompanying you?" Shauna asked, playing along as she played up her new level of cuteness. Ash was still brain dead. "Ash. Yoo-hoo." Serena tried getting Ash out of his stupor, but it was like he really was bamboozled out of the living world, with drool now dripping out of his mouth. "Guess there's only one way to get him back." Stroking his arm, it only took a few seconds before Serena pinched Ash really hard, bringing him back with pain. "Ow. What was that for? We tried calling for your name several times." She chuckled. "Also, you have some drool there." "Wah?" Ash wiped his mouth to see there really was saliva escaping his mouth. Once they went to the counter, Serena was stumped by the price. "It's that much? No way are my parents going to allow me to buy this much?" "Oh, something the problem?" The group turned to see that it was Grant. He was wearing a thin long-sleeve black shirt and gray jeans. "Oh, I remember you guys. From the Battle Chateau," he said with a smile. "Oh, hey Grant. Yeah, we tried getting some new clothes, but everything is way too expensive." "Ah, I understand. Here, I just won this from a bike race I won." He handed her an all-clothing free coupon. "I have no need for this. I just wanted to race. You can have this for your new clothes." "Oh, thank you so much," Serena cheered as she happily took the coupon. Once everything has been bought, they went outside where Grant asked, "So, who wants to face me first?" After doing some rock paper scissors, Ash won out. "I'm first. And this will be my second gym badge." "Great. Follow me." Once they reached the gym, which happened to be inside of the giant racing hill that was part of the city, they soon found that the place had a giant rock climbing wall pillar in the middle of the room, standing at 37 meters tall. It was wide at the base, but it progressively became smaller towards the top. "Now that's a climbing wall," Serena gasped. "Yep." Grant nodded with a smile. 37 meters of transversing colorful rocks with nothing but your fingers and a harness to prevent you from falling. Only challengers are required to use it, with exceptions such as lack of physical strength, endurance or medical reasons. "I just want to give my challengers the experience my great love of rocks." "What do you think, Ash?" Shauna asked her friend. With an excited chuckle, he popped his knuckles. "Climb it, of course." Going over, he grabbed a harness that was right next to a climbable section of the pillar, and started his way up. "I like your spirit, Ash. Meet you at the top." Leading Ash's friends to the elevator, he was left alone to scale the climbing walls. He had to slip a couple of times, but the safety harness made sure that he didn't fall. After about 5 minutes of climbing, Ash finally reached the top, collapsing onto his front, breathing heavily from the effort. "Hey, Grant. I made it." "Well done, Ash," the gym leader complimented, having stood there near the edge over the past 3.5 minutes. "Tell me, what were you thinking as you were climbing?" Nothing really. I was just thinking about reaching the top. And where were you looking? Straight up. Exactly. You were so focused you reached a state of enlightenment. You had a clear concentration and unclouded mind. Now that you've conquered the wall, your next wall to overcome is me. Okay. Just give me a few minutes. Sure. Take your time. Walking to his side of the field, Ash's friends came to his side. Oh man. I don't know if I could climb all of that. In fact, just looking down is making me. The short red head fainted onto his back as he looked down the tall height they were at. Wimp. Serena commented with sigh and eye roll. Ignoring her fallen friend, she went to Ash, making him feel comfortable by helping Ash onto his back and placing his head on her lap. There, is that better? Thanks Serena, but isn't this a little embarrassing and unnecessary? The raven-headed trainer asked. Of course not. I'm just trying to keep your head off the hard floor is all. She tried excusing herself, now a bit nervous, but Shauna could see right through her act and decided to do something about it. He doesn't need a lap pillow, Serena. He just needs a boost is all. Taking his arm, the darker-toned girl helped Ash onto his feet, completely undoing Serena's plan. There, all better. Yeah, thanks. He nodded. Patting her shoulder, he went to the battle arena. Serena got up, looking at her old friend with an irritated expression, Shauna returning it. Both girls exhaled in an annoyed manner. We're going back to the sidelines, Serena grabbing Trevor's ankle so that she dragged him across the ground with them. A referee walked up to the arena. Now, the battle between Grant the Sillage City Gym Leader and Ash the Challenger from Beneval Town is about to begin. It will be a 3-on-3 battle, and only the challenger will be allowed to substitute. Let the battle begin. Amora, let's go. Upon seeing the rock, ice type, Ash knew what to do. Frogadier, I choose you. Once his shiny water starter was out, he instructed, use smokescreen. Opening her mouth, the bubble frog Pokemon expelled black smoke from her mouth, obscuring the battlefield. Amora, use hyper voice. Thanks to its refrigerate-ability, the Tundra Pokemon not only shouted with enough volume to create light blue shock waves, ice crystals floated out as well, turning the normal type move into ice. The move cleared out the smokescreen, but Frogadier was nowhere to be seen. Ash grinned. Water pulse. Looking up, he gasped when he saw that the water frog jumped high into the air, forming an orb of water. Throwing it down, she was able to land a critical blow against Amora's back, whom yelled from the painful impact as she was splashed. It was downed in one move. Amora is unable to battle. The winner is Frogadier. All right. You rock, Frogadier, Ash cheered. The water starter smiled. Yeah, both of you did great, Serena celebrated. Way to go. You're so cool, Shauna added, pumping her fist up. Thanks Amora, you did great. I can see that you're quite good with type matchups, but don't think that it'll help you out entirely. Tyrant, let's go. Once his second Pokemon was out, Grant ordered, use Dragon Dance. Stomping around in a dance-like manner, the Royal Air Pokemon glowed orange as it grew stronger. Tyrant, it growled. Water Pulse, once more. Creating another water orb, Frogadier sent it flawlessly into the powered-up rock, Dragon type. But even with its weak defenses, the little dinosaur survived to the water bomb thanks to being said Dragon type, shocking Ash. Counter with Stone Edge. Forming white orbs of energy that turned into rocks, the foe launched them at surprising speed, in which Frogadier couldn't dodge in time and was bombarded, croaking in pain. Falling onto her back, she was beaten. Frogadier is unable to battle. The winner is Tyrant. Huh, that's unexpected. Ash remarked. I wonder how powerful Grant's Tyrant is after that Dragon Dance. It beat Ash's Frogadier, so is it too powerful now? Shauna wondered about out loud. Serena shook her head. No way, he's definitely got this. Good thing I know what to use next. Diggersby, I choose you. This normal, ground type was a fat rabbit that had brown and yellow fur over its midsection, making it seem like everything above his arms was above ground level. Everything else was colored with gray fur, with also exception to its ears, which were like muscular arms past the ear holes near his head. Tyrant, use Outrage. The Royal Air Pokemon roared as it glowed with a red outline, running at top speed. Spray the ground with Mud Shot. Spraying the field with spheres of mud, the field was covered in a layer of wet dirt, which the enemy Pokemon started to slip and slide across. Tyrant, no! Grant yelled as it missed its mark, hitting Diggersby, whom stepped to the side. Tyrant slid into a protruding rock, causing it to crack. Use double kick. Leaping forward, the digging Pokémon landed two powerful kicks against the little dinosaur, smashing it through the rock it crashed into. Having been already weakened against the earlier water pulse, the rock, dragon type, fell down defeated amongst the pebbles. Tyrant is unable to battle. The winner is Diggersby. Alright. Nice comeback. Both of the girls cheered. Good job, Tyrant, that was great. Rest now. I was right to not underestimate you, but now it's time to finish this. Binacle, let's go. This last one was a pre-evolved form of Barbaracle. This time it's just a rock with two hand and arm shaped sentient barnacles on it. Diggersby, use double kick. Counter with razor shell. The water, rock type, let its heads glow bright blue, which then swiped to utterly stop the normal, ground type, while also hurting the digging Pokémon as he grunted with pain, surprising Ash that it could counter so effectively. Now use cross chop. Going from blue to white, the piece of barnacle leapt forward, and chopped both its heads into Diggersby's sides, causing the fat rabbit to spit out saliva with a groan from how much the pinch hurt, and fell onto his butt and then his back, brought down from the sheer, painful power of the move. Diggersby is unable to battle. The winner is Binacle. Ouch, that's got to hurt. Shauna winced. Yeah, I hope he'll be okay, Serena gulped. Diggersby, return. Once his Pokémon was withdrawn, he looked down at the Pokeball. Sorry that hurt so much. We'll win this for you. Pansage, I choose you. Grant lost his grin and sweated from seeing the grass-type monkey. Use Seed Bomb. Spitting out glowing, powered-up seeds, the water, rock type was unable to move from its spot too much, and thus was caught in multiple explosions from the 4x super effective move. When the smoke cleared, the two-headed Pokémon was defeated. Binacle is unable to battle. Pansage wins, and the victor of this battle is Ash, the referee declared. Awesome, Pansage, we won. Ash celebrated as the grass monkey jumped into his arms, laughing all the while. That's how you win, Serena exclaimed in joy. Hooray! Shauna shouted as the two girls went in to hug him, wanting to celebrate with him together in jubilation. It was then that Trevor woke up. Huh, what did I miss? Thank you, Binacle, you did your best. Grant said to his returned Pokémon. Well, with the teamwork of your Pokémon, you've proven to be a wall that I'm unable to surmount. I may be the truest believer of climbing over obstacles, but there may be times something is out of reach no matter how hard we try. However, no matter the odds, you should never give up. I could tell that from how passionately you battled. To commemorate such an impressive show of teamwork, please accept the Cliff Badge. Handing Ash his second badge, it showed that it was like a climbing wall with cubes of bronze and copper acting like the nature of rock. Thank you so much, Grant. Now that you've completed the gym, there's something I'd like to tell you. Since you're on a mission about Mega Evolution, head to Shalor City next and talk to Karina Beaufort. She's not only your likely next gym match, but also the one out of 8 of us that truly understands Mega Evolution. Wow, thanks so much, Serena expressed extremely gratefully. We'll go as soon as we can. After a day of travel, after Serena and Shauna got her Cliff Badge as well, the group reached a small town that was not only having a sort of exhibition match, but it was featuring Diantha Bellers as well. Oh my goodness, she's here in this town? The excited tomboy asked. We have to go see her? But what if we can't? Trevor tried pointing out. Not only is she the champion but also a movie actress. Weren't we lucky to speak to her that one time? Who cares? We're going to meet her and that's that. She shot him down and ran off to where the match is taking place. I'll never get why she treats me so poorly sometimes, the short redhead sighed. Don't worry, Trevor, even if she's a rough, tough girl, she considers you a friend deep down. Shauna reassured him, though it didn't seem to do much. Ash remembered about her telling him about her tough love tactics to toughen him up, though he felt conflicted about telling him or not, as it would mean a very strained friendship, as odd as it was already in the dynamic. Hey, hurry up you slowpokes, Serena yelled at them. They promptly followed suit. Now hold it. A young and short black-haired woman kept everyone out. Miss Diantha is very busy. She won't be seeing anyone or having interviews before her match. Aw man. Serena groaned in disappointment, hunching over to show how depressed she was. Like I said, Trevor nodded with his eyes closed at being right. So how about we just watch the match and continue on? Over here. A voice and hand beckoned them. It was Professor Sycamore. Nice to see you all again. Profe. Trevor was about to yell out his name when Serena clamped his trap shut so that no one noticed them. Shut it until we're in the room, Squirt. She quietly hissed. Going into the room and waiting for the professor to close the door, the blonde tomboy recoiled back in disgust since Trevor licked the hand covering her mouth. Ew. Gross. Why would you do that? She wiped her hand on her shorts. Just so I can both be free and get you away, the redhead retorted with an annoyed tone. HMPH, twerp. She crossed her arms and proceeded to ignore him, though internally she was proud that he stood up to her the way he did, so she could forgive his saliva maneuver. This time. So what are you doing here? Shauna asked the professor. Oh please, there's only one reason that can make me leave my lab in Lumios, he replied as if it were obvious. Mega evolution? Trevor inquired. Bingo. I'm going to try and do research on her ace team. Of them all though, the one I'm most excited is her Gardevoir. A psychic, fairy type that can mega evolve. Now that's a solid enough reason for me to be here. Wow, I want to see. Ash responded with a smile. Have you already seen Diantha? Serena asked the professor, becoming excited again. Oh yeah. In fact, we're quite close associates. She's getting her makeup done in that room. Oh my goodness. She's just on the other side of that door. The blonde practically yelled with sparkles in her eyes. Wow. Shauna agreed. How can we be so lucky? Trevor questioned the odds. I wonder if we'll be having that friendly battle she mentioned. Ash wondered. As if to answer, the door opened and the champion herself stepped out. It's a pleasure meeting you all again, though today's not a good day for that. I could hear everything through the door. Next time, maybe. Ah, okay. The raven-haired teen grumbled. So, have you reconsidered about my offer of your keystone? The professor asked Diantha. The teens noticed she had one of the stones for mega evolution like a pendant around her neck. I'm sorry, but I simply can't part with my stone. It's too valuable to me. And besides, Miss Diantha is fully booked. The same attendant woman that kept everyone at bay earlier stepped in, sounding annoyed. There will be no plans on studying her Pokemon. You know, you look as cute as ever, Gaw. The woman slapped her planner against his face hard, shutting down his advances. Don't think you'll sway me with your silver fox charms. I could file for sexual harassment. Okay, I get it. He replied in an attempt to remain calm, but looked a bit soured. Why don't we schedule for a negotiate? Not going to happen. My champion's time is full with things she needs to attend to, and that's that. In fact, she's going to be behind schedule the whole day if I block you anymore. Come on, Miss Diantha. My apologies. You can stay for the exhibition battle, but I think that's going to be about it. Au revoir. She bid farewell as she followed her attendant. HMPH, serves you right. Serena darkly chuckled, still sore about how she was cast aside of her original position before Ash showed up. Sycamore grumbled. And now for the main event. The referee spoke loudly to the audience. Please welcome our trainers, crowned best of Brackish Town just last year. Say hi to Magnus Warren. This man appeared to be in his 30s, having a matured face of such and brown hair combed back. He wore a black shirt with an orange coat over it with black circles over his shoulders. Brown boots covered some of his blue jeans. He'll be facing off against the elegant Kalos region champion, Diantha Bellaris. She wore her signature white shorts and shirt, along with a beautiful white coat that flared out near the bottom and wing-like fluff around her shoulders, similar to that of Altaria wings. She smiled and waved to her fans who screamed her name. However, the match would prove to be completely one-sided. Even with a team of Talonflame, Gengar, Weavile, Lopunny, Azumarill and even Metagross all fell to her ace Pokemon, Gardevoir, whom didn't even have to use her Mega Evolution, simply because of both how powerful and fast she was along with the well-balanced move pool she had, taking all of them down in 1 or 2 moves without getting hit once. Wow, her Gardevoir is so strong. Serena marveled, having witnessed something so awesome. His team was like a 6 Pokemon counter against her Gardevoir, but she handled them all effortlessly. They walked to the center of the field and shook hands. Thank you. Your Gardevoir is something else. Magnus complimented. Thank you. You're quite strong. You could fit anywhere in my Elite Four at the level you're at. What? They all gasped. Elite Four level, Shauna wondered. He's on par with some of the best trainers in the world and he still lost without a chance? Ash commented, stupefied by the notion. I guess we can kiss that friendly match goodbye because we'd lose even worse than he did. Serena sighed. A grumble interrupted them all. I sure could go for something to eat, Trevor grumbled. I found a place where they sell cakes, the tomboy replied. Oh, cakes. I want chocolate. Shauna cheered. However, when they went to the cake shop, it was crowded as heck there too. There's a crowd here too, Serena bemoaned. But I was really looking forward to that chocolate cake, Shauna cried out in complaint. Well, that's a shame. Oh well, we can just look elsewhere. No way, Trevor. No way is a crowd getting between me and cake. Serena shut him up as she got pumped up and determined. Me too. I'll have that chocolate cake if it's the last thing I do, Shauna agreed as the two females stormed to the cake shop. Trevor sighed in resignation. Females and their chocolates. Don't let them hear that. Ash chuckled. Or they'll give you a side of creaming yaw. With sprinkles of pain. The short redhead groaned even more. The two sat at a table for a small while, waiting when the girls finally got back. Finally, the smell of sweet goods is making me starving, the raven-haired trainer said as he tried to reach for a bit, but she smacked against his hand, making him recoil. Ow. Don't get greedy. This was the only cake we could get thanks to a shortage, Serena told him off. Huh? This is all that we could get? Trevor gasped. So, how do we spread this out evenly? I'm not genius engineer or anything. What? You're sold out already. They looked towards the shop to see a woman slouching forward. What a tragedy. To think I came this way for award-winning delicious cake, but it is for naught. Oh, the tragedy. Would you like a slice? Shauna called out to her. We only have a single slice, so it's not like we have much anyway. You will? The woman asked before clasping her hands. Oh, a godsend. Thank you so much. Sitting down with them, she smiled as she lowered her shades. Nice to meet some familiar faces. Dia. Serena had her mouth covered by Shauna, though she had her own mouth closed to prevent from yelling her name as well. It was indeed Diantha Bellaras, wearing a high-quality black business suit and a hat. It's really you? Ash asked, just as bewildered, but the loudness of his shock was not too much. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Allow me to cut the cake equally between us. Taking their cake, she successfully cut the dessert in such everyone can enjoy their 1/5 of a cake as the rest. So good. They all proclaimed. Best chocolate cake I've ever had. Ash sighed in content. I can taste a hint of bitterness and acidity, but the sweetness counterbalances it. How memorable. I adore desserts. S2. Shauna and Serena agreed simultaneously. It's good, I guess. Chocolate's not my favorite, but it is quite good regardless. So, how come you're dressed like that? Secretly, when I go to a different town or city, I go out to sample their most popular dessert, whether I'm busy or not. But aren't you, like, insanely busy with both being a champion and movie star? Trevor inquired. True, but I do it out of love, so it's really not work at all. Wow, like a true idol would say. Serena marveled Diantha with sparkles in her eyes. Tell me, what are your goals in life? Since Trevor asked about my passions, the champion asked. I already know about yours, Serena, but not the rest. I wish to be able to complete the entire Pokédex, all 700 of them, Trevor answered enthusiastically. Oh my, that's nearly as difficult as becoming champion. Keep it up and you'll reach it in no time, she chuckled. Thank you, ma'am, he replied. Shauna went next. I want to befriend all the Pokemon I can. Although I'm participating in the Pokemon Gym Challenge as well, it's more to just have fun doing it rather than become the champion. Well, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. Diantha smiled, hearing such an innocent goal. And what of you, Ash? Well, I actually moved here around a week ago, and I figured becoming champion would be a fun way to pass the time while traveling the region with my friends. You and Serena have similar goals then. Which means at one point or another you'll battle to see who the better trainer is. The two teens looked at each other, uncertainty in their faces. Oh, don't gain any long faces. The champion tried reassuring them. Regardless who wins that, you two will have grown stronger together since you now know how powerful the other is and can respect them as a trainer and companion, that much more. Yeah, you're right. Serena agreed with a nod. Ash and I are childhood friends, and even though I moved away and hadn't seen him for 10 years, our friendship is still as strong as ever. Yeah, ain't nothing getting in between us. Ash agreed wholeheartedly. Shauna kept her feelings down. This was a moment that jealousy had no place, and was genuinely happy for them as she smiled for them. That's great to hear. You know what, I think I'll cash that non-official battle in early. I'm grateful for the cake, and inspired by how much you care for your goals and friendship. This isn't about trying to beat me, but simply to share the experience of battling for the sake of fun. Wow. Yeah, let's do it. Serena cheered. It's 3-on-1. In a random section of the nearby woods stood Ash, Serena and Shauna and their Kalos starters going up against Diantha's Gardevoir. Trevor and Professor Sycamore were prepared to take notes and record the whole thing. Like before, Diantha wore a pendant that was similar to the one Gardevoir was also wearing for her mega stone, resembling a sun or flower. Are you ready? The champion asked. Yeah, the three trainers responded. Great. You may start any time. All right, Frogadier, use smokescreen. Ash went first. Frogadier spewed out black smoke which prevented the trainers where anything was. And use light screen Foxy. Serena went next. The fox Pokemon waved her stick from her tail, creating a bright yellow force field on their side of the area. Pin missile. Shauna yelled last. From the smoke, white missiles made of energy started honing in on Gardevoir. With a grin, Gardevoir started moving all over the place, effortlessly evading each incoming attack. In fact, the mist missiles were clearing away the smoke, ruining their stealth. Not that Frogadier needed it for much longer. Water Pulse. Leaping up from behind, the Bubble Frog Pokemon formed an orb of water and threw it at the Embrace Pokemon. Again, a dodge without a verbal command. But you can't dodge what you can't see coming. Fire Spin. Serena ordered. Waving her stick, which lit on fire at the end, the fire starter created a tornado of fire right underneath the Psychic, Fairy-type's feet, enveloping the Ace Pokemon. While the attack did jack squat in terms of actual damage, she was nonetheless put in an uncomfortable position as the fire surrounded her. Interesting. She knew that even if the fire spin lasted the whole 5 turns, Gardevoir would still not be taken down. Touching her keystone, she yelled, Gardevoir, surpass evolution. Mega Evolve. Energies began to swap with them as the Embrace Pokemon transformed. The gown around her lower body grew into an even bigger one resembling a bridal gown. Her green hair and facial spikes grew slightly larger, and the horn on her chest split into 2, resembling a heart if one looked completely straight on. Gardevoir. Amazing, so this is what she Mega Evolves into. Professor Sycamore gasped in delight. Wow, what a beautiful Pokemon. Serena complimented, distracted by her even more elegant look now. So cool, Shauna agreed. I'll say, Ash followed. Thank you, but it's checkmate for you all now. Gardevoir, use Focus Blast on Braixen. Forming a blue orb of fighting energy, the Embrace Pokemon fired it with such speed, the Fox Pokemon could barely think to dodge, and was blown back by a powerful explosion, screaming as she was sent flying into Serena. She managed to catch her starter, but she was also knocked back just from the force alone, falling onto her butt. Ow. Are you okay, Foxy? Her Braixen barely responded as her shiny fire type was solidly knocked out cold. The fire spin still had its effect active as another, though a much smaller fire tornado spun around the champion Pokemon, inflicting damage. Come on, Shauna, let's keep going. Frogadier, use Smokescreen. Expelling more smoke from her mouth, the field was obscured again. No, this won't do good for our research, Trevor and the professor complained. Chessie, use Rollout. The dark-toned girl instructed. Even as the red armored grass starter jumped into a ball and rolled like a bowling ball, Diantha was prepared. Shield yourself with Psyshock. A dome of little purple spheres came up from within the smokescreen, followed by an explosion from one of the directions. The explosion cleared away some of the smoke, which showed Quilladin to have fainted from the impromptu barrier. Another fire spin hurt her again before going away. No. My lil Chessie. Shauna cried out. Turning her gaze to Frogadier, the water type gulped. knowing she was finished. Come on Frogadier, let's go out with a bang. Use Water Pulse, Ash encouraged. Shaking her fear away, the Bubble Frog Pokemon leapt up and threw a water orb at Gardevoir. Moonblast. Gathering energy from the moon even though it was not nighttime yet, she countered with a light pink sphere which she launched at the Water Pulse, utterly obliterating it and defeating Frogadier in one fell swoop with an explosion. As the shiny water starter fell, Ash ran to make sure he was where she was going to fall, falling in the process but managing to catch her safely. Hey, are you alright? He asked his starter, even if she was in no condition to reply. Such compassion. You all truly care for your Pokemon. Diantha commented with a smile. Gardevoir nodded as she reverted back to normal. How do they change back, Professor? Trevor asked the older man. I don't know, but I do have a hypothesis that Mega Evolution can only work in high-action situations, like battling or emergencies. Sort of like the fight or flight reflex. Interesting. I must say, it was fun to face off with you three. Definitely fun. Ash agreed with a nod. I'm sure we'll meet again, even if it's just in the Pokemon League. Serena promised. Yeah, Shauna cheered. Thank you for the data. This will definitely help. Professor Sycamore thanked. You're welcome. Well, I have a movie shot to do, so take care. Serena stretched her arms up as she and the group were walking down a road in between two short cliffs and trees providing nice shade. This is such beautiful weather. She sighed in content. It feels so nice out. The best thing to do on a day like this is to run, so let's go. Ash began to run off. Ash, wait. You know Trevor can barely keep up with his walking. The tomboy yelled to the running teen. Hey, not true, Trevor complained. I'm not that short. Please, if you were any shorter then I'd be unable to see you entirely if you stood right in front of me, she chuckled. I found a trainer. A female voice called out as a girl on roller skates came flying in, using the cliffs as ramps while laughing, stopping just above a tree branch to plant an arm on it so she didn't fall, did a complete split, before falling backwards so that she skated off of a branch, and landed right in front of Ash. While straightening her posture, the girl put on some shades while yelling, "Yeah! Number 99, and that's going to be you." The girl pointed to Ash. The girl in question was about his age, had platinum blonde hair spilling from her helmet reaching her waist, and her outfit consisted of a predominant white-red accented sportswear-themed outfit. What? He asked, perplexed by how energetic she was acting. What do you mean number 99? Well, aside from a Yu-Gi-Oh number card, I mean a Pokemon battle. She answered while spinning her arm around like a windmill. So you're a trainer? Trevor asked. Yep, the name's Karina Beaufort. That made all of them gasp. Wow, we've actually been looking for you, Serena told the roller skater with an excited smile. I thought you were awesome from just that stunt alone, but knowing it was who we're looking for makes you doubly awesome. Karina dabbed in response. Thank you. And from behind is my partners. The group looked behind to see two Lucario drop from the trees. Jumping over them while doing flips, the bipedal blue jackals landed perfectly while giving grunts. They were wearing red backpacks. Wait, you've been looking for me specifically? What for? To figure out the secret of Mega Evolution. And judging by your wristband, I'd say we definitely found the right person. Indeed, for Serena observed the female skater had a wristband with 6 key stones in it. So you're curious about the phenomena? Well, I'll happily tell you, if you agree to battle me. Alright, you got yourself a deal. I've been wanting to train before facing your gym anyway. Ash agreed with a fist pump. Karina cheered while spinning both her arms now. This is perfect. We're in top form today. So are you guys also trainers? Who also wants to face me? We do. Serena and Shauna raised their hands high at the same time. Perfect. Let's head out then. Karina pointed behind her before skating, letting the others follow. Once they were at a clear grassy clearing, Trevor was the referee. Charmeleon, I choose you. Ash summoned his shiny Kanto Fire starter, sporting a yellow shade than the normal red-orange. I'll let you go first, Ash, Karina offered. One of her Lucario was already on the field. Thanks, Charmeleon, use Fire Fang. Charging, the flame Pokemon's mouth lit on fire as he went on the attack. Lucario, counter with close combat. Running forward at speeds they were unexpecting, Lucario slammed a paw into Charmeleon's chin, negating the attack while proceeding to pummel the fire type with a flurry of punches and kicks, before slamming the Pokémon down, defeating him in one burst of power. Charmeleon is unable to battle. The winner is Lucario. Whoa, that Lucario's strong, Serena gasped. Yeah, no kidding, Shauna agreed. Charmeleon, return. Sorry that was rough for you. Rest now. Diggersby, I choose you. Once his normal, ground type was out, he ordered, double kick. Counter with a double whammy power-up punch. Karina commanded with a 1-2 combo. His fists glowing orange, he managed to stop both of the kicks. Diggersby landed on the ground, though not without hopping foot to foot while crying in pain from how much his feet hurt now. Now one more for good measure. Continuing his offense, the Aura Pokémon struck the rabbit so hard, Diggersby went flying past Ash, crashing into a cliff with enough force to crack it. He fell to the ground utterly defeated. Diggersby is unable to battle. The winner is Lucario. Such power. Ash remarked in shock. Diggersby, return. Fetchender, I choose you. Once his bird Pokémon was out, he instructed, use agility. The Ember Pokémon started to move quickly, disappearing as afterimages appeared of the fire, flying type. Prepare with Swords Dance. Everyone gasped when the already enhanced Lucario summoned blue swords around himself, and an orange glow appeared. Sense where Fletchender is and use power-up punch. Closing his eyes and having the appendages around his head raise up, the Aura Pokémon could feel the presence of the flying type regardless of speed. His fist glowing, he then leapt and punched the Ember Pokémon, shocking Ash even more. Fletchender flew high into the air with a trill of agony, before falling down, being withdrawn by Ash before hitting the ground. So even with superior speed she's too fast. The pressure is on. My Lucario's so strong even the likes of Valerie or Olympia couldn't resist his awesome strength. Guys? Who's Valerie and Olympia? The Kanto boy asked. Two gym leaders of the Kalos region. Trevor answered. They specialize in fairy and psychic types respectively, and at the level Lucario is at, and if he mega evolves, then I would agree even though would be unable to handle her pure offense. Ash gulped then. Karina? He called to her. Yeah, I think I'd like to fold. Your Lucario is too strong. The Shalor gym leader celebrated as she jumped up and down. Yeah, we did it Lucario. She went to hug the smiling Aura Pokémon. Her other Lucario also joined in, pleased as well. Walking to them, Karina assessed, I can definitely see potential in you, but you're not quite ready to face me at the Shalor gym. Now I have 99 wins. It was then that her stomach growled. Whoops, nothing is more embarrassing than a growling tummy. But we can't help it since battling takes a whole lot of energy. She nervously chuckled. Haha, I know what you mean. I'm getting a bit hungry too. Ash replied, getting a sense of common ground. How about we have lunch now? Trevor suggested. Yes please. Karina and Ash agreed. While the group of 5 humans and all of their Pokémon were eating, they were suddenly ambushed by 30 people in black suits like in the fossil cave. What's going on? Shauna gasped in fright. Sir, we have the enemies surrounded. We're closing in now. One of the agents talked into an earpiece. Stepping forth, the same leading woman from the cave chuckled. I told you we wouldn't take our loss lightly. Now you peasants are coming with us. Don't even think about resisting. We'll attack before you even say your Pokémon's name. While it seemed like they were done for, Karina stood up, staring some of them down. Especially in the woman's direction. The leader of the suited group heard whimpering from behind her, and turned that her men and women were suddenly shaking where they stood. What is it? She's just a single gym leader. But there's something about this teenage girl. One of them complained. It's like deep down I should fear her. Like she herself is too great even without Pokémon. You should listen to them, lady. Karina chuckled, because I'm about to show you my awesomeness. She yelled, pointing her finger so strongly a gust of wind blew at the agents, knocking their shades off. What? How is she doing this? The leader of the group exclaimed in sheer shock. Guys, close your eyes quick, she told her friends urgently. While they didn't understand, they and their Pokémon did. The gym leader smiled as she focused on the enemy group. How I can do it doesn't matter, because Karina started spinning around on the spot, causing the clouds above swirled into thunderclouds, crackling with electrical power. Mega awesomely cool. She stopped spinning, flexing her body which glowed a rainbow aura while her helmet and hair accessories broke, her hair becoming wild as she gained the sheer awesomeness of Super Saiyan 3. Explosions erupting around her without harming her friends. All of the agents gasped as she had expelled so much awesome energy their black hair turned white and they started involuntarily twitching, falling to the ground as their eyes glowed rainbow and their mouths frothed, having an awesome-induced seizure. Cooling down, Karina allowed her hair to fall down to normal while the clouds dissipated to become white and fluffy again. Alright, you can open your eyes now. Doing so, everyone, human and Pokemon alike, were taken aback. All of them were down like this. What just happened? Trevor questioned, losing his mind. Karina giggled. I can use awesomeness as a power, so these guys had no chance. So awesome. Serena marveled at the display of her cool power. She lowered herself down onto the ground in a worshipping. Please train us to be as awesome as you, Karina Beaufort. Unfortunately, I can't train you to be as awesome as me. It's a genetic thing. But what I can do is help train you all so that your Pokemon can beat mine for the gym challenge. Ah, please do. I want to be as strong as you for that, Ash groveled along with Serena. Me too. Me too. Shauna went alongside them. All right, but you better prepare, for my training will be grueling. But when I'm done with you, you'll have the strength needed to beat me. Serena looked up to Karina, remembering something. Oh yeah, since Ash battled you, can you tell us the secret of Mega Evolution? Well, here's the thing. There actually is no secret, the gym leader replied. What? All of them gasped. Yeah. I mean, I know where it came from, but Mega Evolution is nothing more than a battle-related power-up. Nothing more. Sure, others may try to make it sound nicer that it takes the power of friendship to activate, or the bond of friendship is what makes the Pokemon stronger, but anybody can use it if they have the right stones and Pokemon, regardless if your best friends are just newly acquainted. All the gym leaders, Elite Four and Diantha, know this. So why would Professor Sycamore send us on this mission if there was nothing to it than just a power-up? Trevor pondered. Shouldn't he have known too? Well, he had to be professor of something. Otherwise he'd just be a silver fox who never gets the lady. We just humor him while giving a wild goose to chase. The gym leader shrugged. Everyone was silent for a few seconds before Serena laughed. Ha ha ha. Serves him right for choosing Ash over me despite not knowing him at the time. Oh, how priceless. She slammed her fist into the ground while the tomboy had tears come from her eyes due to laughing so hard. Right. Well, let's continue on our newly combined journey together. Karina pumped her fist up. Yeah, to be continued. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts and reviews in the comment box. Now I will see you in the next video.